Get that right? Yeah, I did. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I see everybody in the chat right now. Good to see all of the familiar faces, of course. And I hope everybody's having a wonderful Tuesday evening. Been pretty good for me, you know. Getting out of work, doing my thing. Fucking tired as shit. Took a nap once I got back, back home and whatnot. But yeah, dude, fucking quite a bit of news, of course, that has been dominating is the Jeffrey Epstein, which cannot go away. We're not gonna let this shit go away. Not anytime soon, right? The liberals aren't letting it go away because they just hate Trump, right? Like liberals don't even give a shit about the Epstein files. They never have. Now all of a sudden they care because Trump made a promise to the MAGA conservative movement and didn't deliver what he promised. Now the liberals are going to be all up in arms about it, right? But they never actually gave a shit in the first place, you know? What's up, Angry Snowman? Good to see you in the fucking chat, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope all is well, guys. Hope all is well. But yeah, of course, the main reaction for today, holy shit, it's going to be against Josh Hammer versus Dave Smith. Well, it's really Josh Hammer and Charlie Kirk versus Dave Smith on the topic of Israel, which I found to be pretty interesting. I've seen clips of it here and there, and it seems pretty spicy, if you ask me. So we're definitely gonna go over that debate, see how Dave Smith did against Hammer and Kirk. So we'll see. And now my smoke is out. Thanks a lot. The Dave Smith debate was great. I watched part of it. You could tell he learned from Andrew. He probably did. Yeah, he probably did learn from Andrew after Andrew gave him a pretty good whooping the last time. I think Dave has definitely grown as a debater since then, man. And I think every time you debate Andrew Wilson, you're gonna get better. Like, there's no way to prep for Andrew besides just debate Andrew and keep debating the guy. You know, that's the only way you can kind of learn from it. But yeah, Dave did pretty good from the clips that I've seen. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I wanted to kind of react from beginning to the end because I saw that it got pretty heated, especially with the subject of Israel. Like, Charlie Kirk is a huge Israel lover, as you know. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. And speaking of Israel lover, another one to be said here is, of course, Tucker Carlson on that same Turning Point USA gathering. He dropped some pretty big bombs, man. He dropped some pretty big bombs on that debate stage, you know, or the stage in general, right? I guess like debate stage, whatever. So I want to share you guys this. Buck. I don't know why I did that. I got to learn to be a better producer. That's what I need to do. I need to learn to be a better producer. Anyways, it was a really good back and forth. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Like I said, I haven't seen the whole thing. I just saw a couple of clips, so I wanted to kind of react to it here live because it did seem pretty fucking interesting, and I wanted to get to that. But, of course, let's kind of get into the subject of the Epstein files and Israel in general, just to get this fucking reaction a little bit warmed up on things, because Tucker fucking dropped a huge bomb over there at the Turning Point USA rally, dude. And it's a pretty good one,
The
man.
answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of Intel Services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree?
Till this day, we don't know how Epstein made his money, right? Very suspicious, of course, but we don't know. It's pretty safe to say that he made a lot of money off of blackmailing politicians and United States figures with the help of intel agencies of a foreign nation, which probably more than likely is Israel. More than likely. Which, by the way, tomorrow I'm going to be on Wick TV. If you guys are familiar with Wick TV, I'll be on his show, his platform tomorrow. I'll be streaming it here on Project VO Pod as well. But the subjects are going to be at hand the Epstein files and MAGA in general. That's from what I've been told. According to the messages, there's going to be 3 other people on the panel, including myself and me being a MAGA guy and another one who's also a MAGA female, I guess. I don't know any of these people. So I will be on WIC TV discussing the same topic tomorrow at, I believe, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So, yeah, so just something else to look forward to. More than likely, it's going to end up in a debate, of course. Trump did his part with the Epstein files. He signed the executive order in other people's hands after that. Yeah, I mean, I think the big issue when it comes to the MAGA movement here of the criticizing of Trump was, you know, he didn't. And here's the thing. He didn't, when you say that he ran, because I heard people say he ran off of this, he didn't run off of releasing the Epstein files, FYI. You could read, you know, Agenda 47. Nothing in there does it say, and we're also running off, like an official running off of Epstein files being released. But it was all verbal. You know, it was all verbal. A lot of the people that he brought in were confirming that this was way more deep of a rabbit hole than the Democrats ever revealed. And then once we get into power, all of a sudden the narrative goes back to what it was when the Democratic Party was in power. So this is kind of the confusion here that a lot of people, you know, are kind of pissed off about. You know, I have my own theory about it, but maybe I'll reveal more of it for tomorrow on WIC TV. But yeah.
To having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan. Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried.
Good to see you, man.
And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed.
Now, remember, he said no one's allowed to say it's Israel. Right? Nobody's allowed to say it. I don't think Tucker is saying it is 100% Israel, but nobody's allowed to say that it is, or else you get called an anti-Semite.
Into thinking that that's naughty.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting U.S. president. It's got a whole trail of crimes. That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense. I was born here. My family's been here for hundreds of years. I love this country. That's why I live here. So criticizing the behavior of a government agency does not make you a hater. It makes you a free person. It makes you a citizen. You're allowed to do that because you're not a slave, you're a citizen.
And here's another narrative that the left likes to push, because like I had the same exchange with Destiny, where Destiny's sitting there claiming that MAGA, the supporters of Donald Trump, are in a cult. We're all in one big cult, and anything that Trump says that we just follow, right? Flow State said similar things when I debated him on the Raging Tomato YouTube channel, right? Where he's like, look at your background. You have Trump there. Trump says immigrants are bad today, so therefore you believe immigrants are bad, right? Insinuating that this is a cult. This is like a stupid-ass talking point from the left that they've been trying to paint MAGA as just one big-ass cult, right? But yet it's MAGA right now that is putting the most pressure on Trump to release those Epstein files in the first place. It's never been a cult. It never has been, but of course this is the narrative the left pushes, right? So again, yeah, the left isn't going to backpedal on that until once this whole Epstein shit just fucking falls over. Then they'll just go back to calling us a cult as if this never happened, as if we never made an entire big giant deal that we cannot let go that makes Trump look bad. And we're all honest about it, of what's going on here, right? So yeah, no, MAGA is definitely not what the left portrays it to be. But this is going to be the narrative, or it was the narrative in the day, right? It still kind of is. They just haven't said it lately.
And you have a right to expect that your government will not act against your interests, and you have a right to demand that foreign governments not be allowed to act against your interests. That's not creepy. It shouldn't be forbidden. Creepy. And yet all of us have trained ourselves to believe that you can't say that somehow, that that's like too naughty and forbidden. And the effect of making that off limits has been to create a lot of resentment. And I'll say it,
the fuck out of
online,
Trump more than, yeah, I know,
where people
exactly.
feel like they can't just say, like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I remember that shit too. That's a very good point. Even MAGA fucking got fucking super divided during the H-1B visa bullshit that was happening, dude. That's another fucking example right there. But of course, the left is not going to. And it's crazy because they didn't give a shit. They didn't give a shit about the fucking Epstein files for years. They don't care. They never cared. All of a sudden, the left does, and now Wick TV's talking about it. He wants to bring some MAGA people. And the narrative from these lefties that I'm going to encounter tomorrow is probably going to be that Trump is on the list and that they want it released. Now, all of a sudden, they want the list to release. All of a sudden, they care, you know? But this is what they do, man. This is what they fucking do. Why is the left not concerned about the MLK files? Are they racist? They might be. They might be. They might be. If Trump was really evil, he could just make a list of people he doesn't like and release it. Yeah, it's true. That is true. And that's kind of like the narrative that I heard from Alex Jones, that they tampered with the files. I don't know. I don't know. That's not my theory, and that's not what I'm going to roll with for tomorrow. But if that is the case, Trump could easily do it back and just put Biden, Kamala, fucking anybody else that disagrees with them on that list and release it right there. You know, the same thing can be said back, right? Because a lot of the left are, yeah, okay, there you go. MLK, yeah. Anyways, let's move on here.
In your house, you have had all this contact with the foreign government. Were you working on behalf of Mossad?
Yeah,
Were you
exactly.
running a blackmail operation on behalf of a foreign government? By the way, every single person in Washington, D.C. thinks that. I've never met anyone who doesn't think that. I don't know any of them that hate Israel, but no one feels they can say that. Why? And I think the longer that we play along with it, the more subterranean and creepy and hateful the conversation actually becomes. So I think it's better just to say it right out loud. Did this happen?
Yep.
And of course, that question has been asked to the government of Israel, and their answer is, we're not going to tell you.
Thank you, Grudgehead.
And I think our answer should be, no. As long as we're sending you money, if you were committing crimes on our soil, we have an absolute right to know, did you do this or not? And yet everybody has been so brainwashed into thinking that's somehow an expression of hate or bigotry,
Tucker says it perfectly.
when it's not. It's a baseline question that every U.S. citizen has a right to an answer on.
He says it best right there, man, is that we do need transparency. And Trump did run, even me, when I was saying this stuff, I think Trump is, and still is, the most transparent president we've had in my lifetime anyways. So yeah, the Epstein files, this whole flip that it just doesn't exist is just kind of, it's kind of crazy to me, right? It kind of goes against everything that I perceived Trump to be, right? As far as transparency goes, right? All I know that if Trump was on the file, Democrats would have went after him before he even ran for president. Yeah, exactly, dude. In fact, they could have easily has just leaked out if Trump was on those files. That's just, for example, if he was. I don't think he is, but let's say he was. The Democrats could easily just leak out that information. They don't have to release the files. They don't need to do any of that. What they need to do simply is just to release a piece of that file, the one that condemns Donald Trump as a PDF file or whatever the case is, right? But they didn't do that. They couldn't do that. I don't think Trump is even on that Epstein blackmail list in the first place. Dave versus Josh debate was pretty good. Both sides had great points, especially Josh. Yeah, I've seen clips of it, so we're going to react to that later in the hour. Just right now, I want to kind of get a warm up of my thoughts when it comes to Israel. And you know what? I'll just say the more likely situation, because this is all skepticism, I guess you could call it that, is that I think Trump and the Republicans that came into power and that saw those documents didn't realize how in deep Israel is with the Jeffrey Epstein situation. I think that Israel was running a PDF, trafficking I'm not saying all of the people on that list were diddling kids. However, I'm pretty sure many of them were still having sexual intercourse with trafficked women, that were also adults, right? Still really, really bad. Really, really bad. Okay. So I think the Israeli intelligence agency was using Epstein to gain blackmail on a whole bunch of United States powerful elites. And I think that's where it lands there. And we know how Trump is when it comes to Benjamin Netanyahu. He even made a tweet saying that Benjamin Netanyahu he's in a witch hunt right now. There's a witch hunt for Benjamin Netanyahu, similar to the witch hunt that he had here in the United States. So it seems to me that Trump is more than willing to protect the state of Israel. And maybe they didn't know how deep it went. And that could be a possibility of why, or at least my theory on why Trump has done a 180, And then now, of course, Pan Bondi is the scapegoat. I've seen many right wingers saying it's Pan Bondi's fault and she should get completely fired. I don't even think that's the case. We'll see what happens there, but I don't think that's going to change anything. You can replace Pan Bondi with anybody else. I think we're still going to get the same exact results. So there's a difference there with that. So just my theory on that, I think that's the most likely situation there, but we'll see. We'll see. Only time will tell, right? Even if Trump's name was on the list doesn't mean he is guilty or something, or anybody else you visited the island, there would have to be proof beyond the reasonable doubt. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that as well. But nevertheless, it's still a tarnish on your reputation, right? So yeah, fuck, dude. It is what it is. But yeah, that's what Tucker had to say, and I do agree with Tucker pretty big on that. I do like what Tucker had to say. Tucker didn't go into the theory of why the Epstein files weren't released, because again, it's all speculation at this point. But nevertheless, we'll see where it goes. Now, this is some breaking news here, guys, that maybe, I believe this was today. He was also asked about the Epstein files here. And this is what Trump had to say. Very interesting.
The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you on
that. On what? On
the DOJ and FBI
On what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein. Okay. On Epstein. Of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the...
So the reporter's asking him, did she tell you that your name appeared on the Epstein file list, right?
No. She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden. We went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it. But she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a very, very interesting response by Donald Trump. Listen to what he said. This was Coney and Barack Obama that fucked with the files. And there's a lot of false information there. And we're going to have Pan Bondi go through with it. And I'm going to let her deal with it. And whatever she believes to be credible information, she will release. I mean, I don't even know how Barack Obama came into this situation here. That's just fucking wild to me. Personally, in my opinion, I think they won't release anything because several members of both parties may be on some type of list, which would cause political unrest or chaos. Yeah, I could see that. Then explain why Maxwell is in prison for 20 years. Yeah. yeah, exactly. Let's explain what the hell she's in there for 20 years. Why? There's no client list. There's no blackmail list. They trafficked, children, but they trafficked them to To who? Who got those kids? We don't know. There's no perpetrators. The perpetrators don't exist, I guess. So fucking weird on this situation. Now Trump is saying Barack Obama messed with the files somehow. It just gets wilder and wilder as time goes on. And the excuses and the cover-up has just become so obviously false. It's just like, you expect us to believe this shit. It's fucking wild that Donald Trump, went on to say something like that it's Barack Obama and his doing somehow, some way. Fucking crazy, man. They just want to say Trump bad. Last night in the debate, people blamed Trump for problems with the flooding in Texas. Are you serious? They were blaming Trump for the flooding in Texas. Mother Nature comes and causes one of the worst flood disasters that we've seen in Texas history, and that's somehow Trump's fault. That's fucking wild, bro. Who the fuck was saying that? Last night's debate. Which debate are you talking about, bro? Who the fuck was saying that shit? You can't have a SA ring and not have clients. Yeah, exactly, Snowman. Exactly. So it doesn't make sense. This shit does not make sense. Yeah, it gets wild and wilder, bro. It gets wild and wilder. Now, speaking of that, more breaking news that happened today was, let's do this one. Oh, hold on. Yeah, here it is. More breaking news here, guys. Of course, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, flips Epstein's script on GOP, saying, Giselle, is that how do you fuck you say her name again? Can somebody put a pronunciation in the chat so I know I can get it right here? Ghislaine, there you go. That's how you say it. Ghislaine Maxwell should testify, and Pan Bondi must release the files. Now, this headliner is a little kind of misleading a little bit, because I am going to play the full video in the context of what Speaker Mike Johnson said. But this is what they had to say. This is from, what is this, Daily Mail? It's from the Daily Mail. Top Congress Republican Speaker Mike Johnson has shockingly come out in favor for the Jeffrey Epstein files being released, despite the administration claiming the client list does not exist. Okay. The Republican shared on a podcast with conservative pundit Benny Johnson that he would like more transparency from the White House surrounding the highly sought after files on the deceased PDF file. Asked if he would support the efforts to have Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, testify before Congress, the speaker said, "I'm for transparency." He also appeared open to Congress issuing subpoenas to the FBI and Department of Justice to force the agencies to turn over any previously undisclosed files. So this is what Speaker Mike Johnson has come out to say, that he's all for the transparency here. Now, yeah, Ghislaine, thank you. Yeah, I always fuck it because I read the word and it doesn't say Ghislaine to me. It does not say Ghislaine to me. They should have just spelled it that way. Thank you, Angry Snowman. Ghislaine. Anyways, so Grid 1 debating Gibbs. Okay, that was last night, and they were blaming the Texas floods on Trump. Dude, it's fucking wild. Are they liberals? That's probably why. Anyways, guys, so Ghislaine Maxwell apparently is very open to testify to a court about the Epstein client list. This is insinuating that there is an Epstein client list, according to Ghislaine Maxwell here. Which I was kind of surprised. This is fucking breaking news here. This is gonna turn the tides if she's willing to sit on court, assuming that she lives, right? Assuming that she doesn't, accidentally delete herself in her cell or something like that, that she can actually get there. But it seems to me that many Republicans are against this, right? We had Chuck Schumer come out and say that he's 100% for the transparency of the Epstein files and that Trump should release them. I'm sure the Democrats are 100% for Ghislaine Maxwell to get on that court to testify. Now, will it happen? I don't think that it will. I really don't think that it will. But we'll see. We'll see on that. I don't think this is going to come to fruition. But the fact that Ghislaine is actually open to coming on the court to testify for the client list, implying that there is one, says a lot. This is still massive damaging from the Trump administration. It's damaging to them at this point, especially if she comes out and say that shit. Now, just for transparency reasons, we're going to play you the clip of Speaker Mike Johnson talking about this. He wasn't so like hell-bent about it. It's not like he was jumping up there and say, yes, we do need the Epstein files released and Ghislaine Maxwell should take the court, etc. He gave out a politician answer that could possibly be interpreted something differently later if he has to backtrack. That's my opinion here, but I'll show the full context for you.
Speaker Johnson, this is sort of on the heels of something else that a lot of people are asking questions about. And because we've been lied to by the federal government for so long, I feel like there's some type of like there's a pain point, right? And a pressure cooker that gets heated up on issues like the Epstein issue, right? And obviously that's something that's taken over a lot of the online dialogue. I have a question here about it that concerns either testifying.
Now read that super chat here. Speaker Johnson will see a vote in Congress on allowing Ghislaine Maxwell to testify before Congress. Now that's interesting. So Speaker Mike Johnson is going to have a vote on that. He said that he wants transparency. So we'll see where his vote lies when the time comes in.
Or testimony for Ghislaine Maxwell potentially before Congress, or if you would support members like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Anna Paulina Luna on the release of subpoenaing the Epstein documents from the DOJ, whether you would support either of those.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Marjorie or Anna about that specific subject, but I'm for transparency. We're intellectually consistent in this. Look, Reagan used to tell us we should trust the American people. I believe in that principle. I know President Trump does as well, and I trust him. I mean, he put together a team of his choosing, and they're doing a great job. It's a very delicate subject, but we should put everything out there and let the people decide it. I mean, the White House and the White House team are privy to.
We should put it out there and let the people decide on it. All right. Now, again, he's not so enthusiastic to answer the question here. Kind of giving a lukewarm kind of response, very political response. You know, politician-like.
That I don't know. I mean, this isn't my lane. I haven't been involved in that. But I agree with the sentiment that we need to put it out there. And you know, Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents, as I understood it, they were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but
I don't know if she was specific on the list, even though they asked her, do you have the Epstein client list? They're sitting on my desk right now to review. So she answers the question that she had the list, but he's like, well, I don't know.
Specific about a list or whatever, but
he doesn't know anything about it.
Come forward and explain that to everybody.
This is what I'm saying. It's a lukewarm answer. It's a lukewarm answer. And then he's like, well, she should come out and explain it to everybody. She already did. She explained it in 1 minute that didn't make sense.
Specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come forward and explain that to everybody. I like Pam. I mean, I think she's done a good job. We need the DOJ focusing on the major priorities. So let's get this thing resolved so that they can deal with violent crime and public safety.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Election integrity, and
I do agree with all that.
Blue and the things that the president is most concerned about, as we are. So I'm anxious to get this behind us.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I agree that the Epstein files need to get released, have some transparency to the American people. Of course, Trump already said that there's some stuff in the files that are just plain false. And they were tampered with by Barack Obama somehow. I don't fucking know. But then he's going to have Pam Bondi review it and release whatever she believes to be credible, right? We already heard Trump say that. Are we actually going to get the full context of these files? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's like nitpicking exactly what they want you to see in those files. Yeah, I don't know. You guys really want to see that? Yeah, I don't know. You guys really want to see that? With the files? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Exactly. Like the way of which he's speaking in terms of that, right? It's very lukewarm, very political, politician way of answering questions. But I mean, it is what it is. But that's kind of like the latest news of what we have with the Trump administration handling these documents. We'll see where it goes in the future. I don't like these answers straight up, but we'll see. Like I said, I already gave you guys my theory on this. I do believe that a big reason why they're not releasing that client list is because Israel is knee deep in these crimes that were being committed here in the United States with these blackmail PDF file rings, right? So we'll see. Client list, yes. I don't need to know what they did, though. Oh, good point there. Yeah. Yeah, good point there, man. Yeah, we don't need to know exactly what they did, but let's at least get the client list so we know exactly who was involved with the Epstein shit, right? Let's see here. It would be transparency for the whole world. You know, he has connected to Prince Andrew. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I do know that. Have you not seen the interview of him by Channel 4? I don't know if I have. I don't know if I have heard of that, but I do know that he had connections to Prince Andrew. I think that was admitted too. Oh, yeah. Prince Andrew actually did admit that. There was an interview that he did. I forgot with who, 60 Minutes or something like that. It's kind of news outlet that they were talking about that. So this is all transparent here. There is a list. There is a client list. All of a sudden, there's not one. But we'll see where it goes from there. But let's get to the main event here, guys, because apparently I've been told that this debate between Josh Hammer and Dave Smith, in its overall context, is actually really, really good and very entertaining. The subject of Israel. And Charlie Kirk is moderating this debate, but apparently Charlie Kirk gets involved in the debate as well, because we know Charlie Kirk is also funded by the lobbyists, AIPAC, right? They do fund TPUSA. So I think he has to walk on eggshells here when he's dealing with the subject of Israel. And I did hear that I think it was, I forgot who tweeted out, but these somewhere from the Israeli government tweeted out that Tucker Carlson's a liar and that they had nothing to do with Epstein and that he wasn't a agent of Israel or any of that nature, and that Charlie Kirk shouldn't platform a conspiracy theorist in Tucker Carlson. So they're already on the defense right now. So, which, I mean, are you surprised on that, right? That they would be saying that? But let's get with this debate here. 'Cause I hear it's really good.
All right, everybody.
Here it's really good.
How are we all doing? So first, where were you a year ago today?
At work.
I bet you remember exactly where you were. A year ago today,
He's talking about the shooting.
Donald Trump was in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
A year ago today, our
I was at
republic
work,
was
actually, when
probably
that happened,
saved by
so
just
I
a
do
couple
remember.
of centimeters. A year ago today, by the grace of God and a turn of the
right,
or
let's move forward.
when it comes to whether or not we should be supporting or sending aid to Israel,
All right, here
because
you go.
we as conservatives, we want to have this debate. We don't want to just all of a sudden say, oh, you're not allowed to say that. No, we want to foster an environment where we get to the truth. We want to find the
I
best
like that.
ideas
I
and
like
have the
that.
best ideas win. And so we are thrilled to have two men, and they know what they're talking about. I'm going to be moderating this. We're going to make sure that this remains mostly peaceful. So give it up for Josh Hammer and Dave Smith,
Yeah,
everybody.
I know. It really doesn't seem like a year ago. It seems like it was just like, really, a year ago, bro. You know? I still remember doing the fucking election stream. And we had a fucking, like, 10 people, 12 people on the panel fucking watching as Donald Trump got elected. And, yeah, it was only like, what, 2 months before that, 3 months before that, where he got grazed in the ear by a bullet. Doesn't seem that long ago, but it was. A year ago, man. Crazy. Crazy. Yes, guys, if you are just joining us, hit the fucking like button and like the stream. Subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. Because we're giving you this content always for free here on Project Deal Pod. And of course, give some super chats because
Josh,
the donations really help, guys. That was the day a lot of people decided to vote for Trump. Yeah, it was. Yeah, 100%, bro. 100 fucking percent. Yes, it was also on Channel 4. Okay. Posted. I didn't see the one you mentioned, but maybe it's the same. Yeah, it probably is. I don't remember exactly where I saw it from. But it's probably the same one that we're talking about. But I don't remember exactly what was said, to be perfectly honest.
and Dave, welcome to Turning Point USA. Welcome to Tampa. And give it up for both these men again. So we have a clock here we can blow through that if this is going well and respectful and spirited. I first wanted to start by introducing both these men. Josh Hammer, Newsweek, Josh Hammer Show. Josh is, and so Dave Smith, and much about that. But we were talking about how much we agreed backstage on certain things. And Dave, means a lot that you made work here. You took statements.
All right, let's get
what
to
do we
this
think of
fucking-
that? Good, bad? How did Trump handle it? Number two, we want to talk about the appeared, the fake, or the real amount of Israeli influence in American politics.
Yes,
from
put all
AIPAC
those
to
words
how
in there.
congressmen are
Yeah.
involved and kind of have
Fair
our
enough, he's
discussion
being down the
debate.
middle.
And then finally, it's one thing to be against stuff, everybody. You can always, I don't like this, I don't like that. I want both of these men to present what their solution is, their proposition of what they are proposing. So with that, though, Dave, I thought it would be helpful. This is your first Turning Point event. Some people aren't familiar with your work. Introduce yourself, make an introductory statement, and the floor is yours, my friend.
Oh, well, thank you very much, and thank you guys for having me. As Charlie
I'll look
mentioned,
it up
I
after
took a
the stream.
flight here. Oh, so
I
I'm
gotta remember
going
what
on
that
no
was.
sleep. So if Josh wins, it doesn't count. But I'm a stand-up comedian, and I'm also a libertarian. I'm really a follower of the greatest congressman who's ever lived, who is Dr. Ron Paul. Israelis making peace with the Palestinians. They could just have the U.S. overthrow all of the surrounding governments that were giving Israel a hard time. And this is where four-star general Wesley Clark says that he saw the plans right after 9/11 to overthrow 7 countries in the next 5 years.
Pretty tan.
And what was the last country on that list?
And Dave Smith is
It
Jew,
was
by the way.
Iran.
He is a Jew.
Okay, this is a big part of what the whole conflict is about. Now, the neoconservative has kind of become like a pejorative for war hawks these days, and don't get me wrong, I support that. Keep calling them neocons. But the actual neoconservatives, the self-identified neoconservatives, aren't really in power anymore. But Benjamin Netanyahu is still in power in Israel. And the Likud party is still pushing for this. Now, I want, very quickly, I'll try to not go too long here. Okay, they actually did focus group testing back in the 90s before the first Gulf War in Iraq. And Americans weren't really moved by, we have to reinstall the king of Kuwait, but they were moved by the nuclear threat. Now, if you go read Coping with Crumbling States or the Clean Break Memo, in the 90s, when the neocons admitted they wanted to overthrow Saddam Hussein, they never said it was because he had nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
They said he was a problem for Israel in the region. They only made up that lie after 9/11 because they knew that's what would sell you, or maybe not you, you're too young, but sell your moms and dads on going and fighting this war.
That is 100%
And by the way,
true.
when they talked about wanting to overthrow Iran, it was the same thing. Never had nothing to do with a nuclear threat. That's just the thing they use now as the excuse. So yes, there is tremendous influence by Israel.
Now, funny thing is, I don't know if you guys saw the interview that Tucker Carlson did with the Ayatollah over there in Iran, but he mentioned, the Ayatollah mentioned that, I guess because of their religion, I'm not too sure. Maybe you guys can fact check this shit because I've never heard this statement from any other Muslim. But apparently, it's against their religion to own nuclear weapons. Somehow, I don't know. They can own machine guns, I guess, but not a nuclear weapon. I have no idea where that comes from, but that was mentioned by the Ayatollah.
In our government, that doesn't mean I'm subscribing to some crazy conspiracy or telling you to hate Jewish people. I'm Jewish. I'm just saying
he's Jewish,
they have influence. They've used it in a very negative way, and we should reject this insane foreign policy and embrace the foreign policy that Dr. Ron Paul advocated, which is the foreign policy of the founding fathers. Stay out of entangling alliances, stay out of unnecessary wars, be friends with the world, and trade with the world. That's the key to prosperity.
Thank you, Dave. Josh, opening statement, feel free to respond, and then we'll proceed as we go. So that was about 3.5, 4 minutes, so same amount of time.
All right, so it's really great to be here. Thank you, Charlie, for having me. Thank you, Turning Point, for having me back. It's really wonderful to be at this amazing conference. Dave joked that he didn't get any sleep last night. Today's actually also a fast day on the Jewish calendar. I'm not eating or even drinking water. So we're all on the same page here. We're all just totally screwed. So you can kind of get off the same starting place there. Look, there's a lot of substance to respond to. I'll just really briefly do that, and then we'll talk about what I actually want to talk about in my opening remarks. Dave mentioned this alleged coordination between the neoconservatives, which I presume he means Bush-era
yeah,
foreign
he's Jewish
policy,
too.
and
Okay.
the Likud party. I presume half of you probably don't even know what the Likud party is. It's referring to the Israeli right. It's very instructive, and Dave always conveniently neglects to inform the audience of this, that the actual leader of the Israeli right back in 2002, a man by the name of Ariel Sharon, vehemently opposed the Bush administration going into Iraq. So this whole notion that Israel is talking America into foreign wars is total nonsense. Actually, in 2011, when the Obama administration toppled Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, it's actually well known that Libya actually sent secret diplomatic envoys to Israel, trying to tell them to then talk to the United States and France to talk NATO off of that attack there. So this whole narrative is totally backwards there. But I want to kind of dumb things down a little bit here. I see a lot of people wearing 47 hats. I voted for President Trump multiple times. I love our president. You guys love our president, right? You love President Trump? Okay.
He wants to get the audience on his side.
This is Turning Point freaking USA. Charlie, God bless you. You have built the largest MAGA grassroots army in the country.
Okay, he's just
my
ass
friend,
kissing.
is that quite unified? Believe it or not, all the talk to the contrary when it comes to these issues. An overwhelming majority of self-identified MAGA Republicans support close U.S.-Israel relations. According to a CBS News poll, moreover,
Okay, here you go.
after the recent Operation Midnight Hammer B-2 bombers in Iran, 94% of self-identified MAGA Republicans supported President Trump's dropping those B-2 bombs on Fort Natanz and the other Iranian facilities there. This is a wildly popular policy there. What did Dave Smith say about this? He re-upped
that was
his now
dumb.
years-long crusade to call for Donald Trump's impeachment.
That
Y'all
was
probably don't-
dumb. That was so dumb by Dave Smith. I'm not going to lie. That was a stupid take from Dave Smith. I can agree with Josh Hammer on there. Hammer sounds like a kiss ass. Yeah, he is a kiss ass. That's why. Yeah, Charlie Kirk, such a fucking great event here. Let me just kiss your ass before I say this. But no, nevertheless, yeah, Dave Smith was saying Donald Trump should be impeached for bombing the nuclear facilities of Iran, which was fucking wild to me.
Know that about Dave Smith, too. He's now called for Donald Trump to be impeached multiple times. But Dave, look, I mean, I don't like when people misquote me either. You probably don't like when people misquote you. So I actually have a little bit of a highlight reel here of Dave Smith's tweets over the years. Dave Smith, March 19th, 2024. Donald Trump is responsible for around 500,000 deaths in Yemen, and between the weapons to Ukraine and the Abraham Accords Jerusalem embassy, he is at least partially responsible for the two worst humanitarian crises in the world. He's a war criminal who should spend his life in prison. He is calling Donald Trump a war criminal who should spend his life in prison. You should be livid at that. I am livid at that as a Trump supporter.
Okay,
Donald
so this is why he...
Dave Smith, June 16, 2025. Trump allegedly had full prior knowledge.
This is actually a good strategy from Josh Hammer over here. He wants to rile up the crowd. We're all for Trump. We love Trump, blah, 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 blah. By the way, Dave Smith, he doesn't love Trump. That's the strategy that he's going by with his opening statement, is that Dave Smith is anti-Trump. Now, Dave Smith did vote for Trump. That is true. I don't know his tweets throughout the years. I'm not a Dave Smith fan. But this is the angle he's going with.
Israel's attacks and gave it his blessing while pretending to be negotiating with the Iranians as a cover. If this is true, Trump is the most impotent bitch of a leader imaginable. He's calling our president, the greatest president in my lifetime, an impotent bitch. Are you kidding me? June 21st, 2020.
That fake outrage, though. The fake outrage.
Donald Trump has now launched an illegal war of aggression against Iran. The risk of an absolute catastrophe is very high, and the benefits are non-existent. Dave Smith, June 21st. Dead wrong. This notion that World War III would start, not a single American casualty. We should be celebrating that. Donald Trump fulfilled multiple campaign promises. The escalator speech in 2015 at Trump Tower, he literally said, I'm not going to let Iran get a nuclear weapon. And guess what? He said, I oppose a neoconservative foreign policy. He did both of those things with Iran. He deprived the Iranian regime of nuclear weapon while not losing a single American sailor, soldier, or Marine while depriving them of nuclear weapons. And finally, Charlie, I'll end on this. Dave Smith, July 8th, 2025. In the last month, Donald Trump has launched a war of aggression on behalf of a foreign government, exploded the debt, announced that he's continuing the Biden policy of arming Ukraine.
Well, these people are political pundits online. They're online political pundits. Yeah, we don't get them on the TV here in the United States. So, by the way, where are you from, by the way, Catherine? Just so I know where you're viewing this from. And by the way, really appreciate you being in the chat for that. Wait, he has a microphone. He Doesn't need to shout. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get you there. I get you there. But it's the outrage. It's the outrage. You got to be outraged. You know, that's the point here. Scotland. Okay. You're in Scotland. Fair enough. Well, shout out to Scotland over there. Really appreciate you watching from Scotland. All right. Thank you so much.
And cover up a giant child rape operation. So according to my interlocutor, Donald Trump is not just engaging in wars on behalf of foreign governments, he is also covering up the world's giant pedophilic child sex trafficking ring, allegedly, I presume, on behalf of a foreign government as well. So I'm disgusted, frankly, that this man is on stage, but I'll end it at that.
Okay, well, got it.
Yeah, so he just played this guy hates Trump card.
You can see
which has nothing to do with
peace is
Israel.
hard. I'm trying to keep the peace. Now, Dave, I want to give you an opportunity, about 4 minutes to respond to that. But also, I do want to, now that
He spent like 30 seconds saying that what Dave Smith said was wrong, and then the rest of the time saying Dave Smith hates Trump. Which has nothing to do with Israel here. It's just appealing to the emotion of the crowd at this point.
we had the opening salvos and the Tomahawk missiles launched, let's respond as you see fit. No, and then bring us to the 12-day war, because let's stay focused on that.
Yeah.
We can.
Well, the thing, Charlie,
but
is...
defend yourself,
Sure.
obviously.
Well, the thing is, Charlie, as you may have noticed, and some of you may have seen some of my other debates, every single time I come up here to debate issues, and they come up here to debate me and my character. It's all they have every single time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking right now. This has nothing to do with the actual topic at hand. Dave does a great job calling this out right off the bat. Look, he's not even arguing with my position. He's just saying I'm a bad person for fucking criticizing Trump or calling him a bitch, whatever the case is. Dave Smith has the right to call Trump whatever the fuck he wants. I really kind of don't give a shit, to be honest. But however, the debate tactics right off the bat with Josh Hammer, just attacking the character and not the argument, is frankly just dumb. It's just fucking dumb. Lower class, good to see you in the chat, bro. Good to see you in the chat, which, by the way, Lower Class does streams, and he's been doing a lot of streams on the Epstein files. Really great content there from Lower Class. Ghost or somebody, can you guys put his channel in the chat so that everybody can make sure to follow Lower Class? He has some great work over there that he's doing on his channel. Dave is sounding like a debate university student. Very nice. Yeah, he is. That is 100% true. He is sounding a lot more reasonable, calling out the ad hominems there. You know, like I said, right off the bat, this is like, well, remember, Dave Smith hates Donald Trump. Nothing to do with the debate, though. Nothing to do with the debate. Fucking crazy. Speaking of nothing to do with the debate, we got OJ in the house on Black People Time. Good to see you, my friend.
Always on Black People Time.
Always on Black People Time. Anyways, yeah, Lower Class. Yeah, no problem, bro. That's amazing. Many thanks. Yeah, many thanks to you, bro. You do a really great job with the content you've been making recently. So I really appreciate the content. Guys, go follow Lower Class on YouTube. Ghost has already sent the link to his channel. So go ahead and follow him. Make sure you follow that guy because he does a great job on breakdowns. Grudgeheads also got it there, so go ahead and give him a follow on YouTube. It's really beautiful. Whispers of History. Yeah, yeah, it is beautiful. I like how Dave Smith responds off the bat with the character assassination to start off the debate. Fucking crazy. Anyways,
Isn't he a Jew, by the way?
yeah, they're both Jews. They're both Jews.
Oh, they're both Jews.
Yes, Dave Smith is a Jew, and I didn't know this, but I just looked it up as well. Josh Hammer is also Jewish. Both are Jewish. So this is the debate on Israel. Dave Smith has the position that we probably should be cutting funds to Israel, and then of course Josh Hammer's gonna refute that. So that's kind of the debate here. It's on Israel.
Okay, gotcha.
Because they can't actually take on any of the arguments, and so the most pathetic low-hanging fruit of, you guys like Trump, this guy said bad things about Trump. Listen, guys, I'm a free American. I supported Donald Trump in this last election. Yes, he did just actively cover up a giant child rapist ring, and I'm going to criticize him.
And that's good criticism, by the way. That is very good criticism. Now, as far as him, when Trump bombed the nuclear facilities of Iran, and he said Trump should be impeached, that was a dumb take. That was such a stupid take from Dave Smith. I can criticize Dave Smith. I'm not a fan of either one of these guys, FYI, chat.
I was about to say, I wasn't a fan of Dave Smith. I don't know who the other guy is.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Josh Hammer. To be perfectly honest, I'm not familiar with him. I am very familiar with Dave Smith. I've seen his show. I enjoy it. I've listened into many of his podcasts, but I'm not a fan of him. He's a libertarian. So, but at the same time, you know, he's a smart guy, very smart guy, Dave Smith. So yeah, maybe I might be a little biased when I'm judging this stuff, but I called it out right off the bat that this guy did a character assassination to start off the debate. Dave Smith does a great job just calling it out off the bat. So that's definitely a big point for Dave, you know. His comedy kind of sucks. His comedy kind of sucks. Yeah, you know, Dave is pretty funny, bro. Dave's pretty funny. Dave is based a lot, but sometimes he can come off as a crybaby. Yeah, that's true too. I'm just saying I like Dave Smith. I don't hate the guy. Yes, he's a libertarian. That's not my cup of tea. But dude, there's far worse political pundits out there that you definitely need to criticize way more than a Dave Smith. That's for sure. But yeah, we'll move on here.
For that, okay? And I'm sorry, after all these years of us right-wingers saying, protect the children, come on, that's bad for your soul if you don't. You speak up about that. It's horrible what he's doing. And, you know, as far as the actual substance of what Josh said here, which there really wasn't much, but I already pointed this out the last time we debated, his topic about how Sharon was against the war in Iraq is total nonsense. Sharon's envoy initially opposed it when he found out that Bush was going to invade Iraq, not because he didn't want Saddam Hussein to be overthrown, but because he wanted regime change in Iran first. And then when the George W. Bush administration assured him that Iran would come next, they got on board with it and they started pumping out all types of propaganda about how Saddam Hussein's nuclear secret site.
And I love that Dave Smith is actually addressing his argument that he snuck in for 30 seconds and then went on a tirade about how Dave is a Trump hater. So great job on Dave's point right there.
And Benjamin Netanyahu, the longest-serving prime minister in Israeli history, that
he is sounding like that. He sounded like a debate university student by Andrew Wilson.
Under, you know, a congressional testimony that anyone can go watch, and advocated not that the U.S. let Israel do it, but that the U.S. overthrow Saddam Hussein. I believe his words were, "I guarantee that peace will spread through the region." And he also advocated that we overthrow Muammar Gaddafi and the mullahs in Iran. So that's just, you're just wrong about it. That's not true. And yes, have I been critical of Donald Trump when I think he gets things wrong? Yeah. I mean, I think that's what we should do. This is America. You criticize the government when they get things wrong. And so I don't even know what else.
Josh, wait 1 sec, Josh. I got to keep the peace here. Dave, about a minute-ish. A minute and a half. No, I'm taking the right time. I'm just...
Look, as far as
take about a minute and a half and try to...
You like how Charlie's trying to be mutual about it, but deep down in his heart, he's like, you fucking anti-Semitic piece of shit that's also a Jew. That's what he's thinking right now, dude. You anti-Semitic Jew-hating Jew. That's what he's thinking. He's just trying to keep the peace, bro. Okay, all right.
12-day war thing.
Yeah, sure. As far as the 12-day war goes, I mean, look, I'll be honest.
That's what he's thinking in his head.
It might be the greatest thing he's ever done in his life, that at the end of the 12-day war, he after the Iranian response was as weak as it was, and they gave us advanced warning, so there were no American casualties, he started pushing for a ceasefire. And that was great that he did that. But the point is that the war never needed to be launched to begin with. Iran did not have nuclear weapons. Iran, according to all of the intelligence, including our director of national intelligence, until a day after Israel bombed them and she changed her mind, go read the annual threat assessment from earlier this year. Iran had not made the political decision to acquire a nuclear weapon, and they were in negotiations with Donald Trump at the time to bring their enrichment down. There was just no need other than the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu wants that regime overthrown.
Josh, feel free to respond. Thank you.
I'd be curious if Dave Smith also believes in the tooth fairy and pink unicorns. I mean, what lie does Dave Smith not believe, frankly? Look, the recent 12-day war is literally the encapsulation of the Trump doctrine of foreign policy. Donald Trump ran against neoconservatism. He is not a neoconservative. That's good, because neoconservatism is actually really, really bad. I actually have a whole chapter in my book, Israel and Civilization, talking about how bad neoconservatism is. It's chapter 7. If you haven't read it, you should go ahead and pick up a copy. So it's
nice plug-in. Nice plug-in, guy. Nice plug-in.
Really good that Donald Trump opposes
Advertisement.
moralistic
A nice advertisement right there. Go get my book. It's chapter 7 right here where I say blah, 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 blah. Okay.
nation-building boondoggles. Guess what Donald Trump is also not and never has been since day one? He's never been a hardcore isolationist. He is a foreign policy nationalist and realist. We would say that he is a Jacksonian. He is in the mold of Andrew Jackson, one of his favorite presidents of all time, because he believes in generally following the very wise advice of George Washington in his farewell address that you should beware of foreign entanglements. But when you are attacked, you are going to punch back 3 times as hard. How many times has Trump said that in a debate there? When he's punched, he's going to punch back really, really, really hard. What happened in the 12-day war was you had a close ally, Israel, that through their wonderful control of the skies, and they're taking out the missile launchers and the
great.
IRGC command there, essentially paved a very clean runway through that and their neutralizing Hezbollah last year in 2024 that then allowed the United States to come in with the B-2 bombers and the death blow. It was a perfect alley-oop. For you basketball fans, it was kind of like Kobe Bryant tossing it to Shaquille O'Neal back in the way. It was a perfect tag team operation to neutralize and set back by many years the threat of a regime that, whether or not we care to admit it, has actually been at war with the United States at least since the 1983 Beirut, Lebanon, Hezbollah barracks bombings that slaughtered 241 Marines, arguably since the 1979 hostage crisis as well. Again, Donald Trump fulfilled multiple campaign promises. He set back the nuclear program. Not a single American soldier, sailor, or Marine died. It was a brilliant, brilliant move of statesmanship, a fantastical move. Frankly, it's a borderline Mount Rushmore worthy accomplishment, I would say.
Okay, so he's going to the direction of the decision of Trump bombing the nuclear facilities was a great thing. Dave Smith, of course, was against that because Dave Smith said he wants him impeached. I don't know if you remember that take that Dave Smith did on Piers Morgan, that he wanted Donald Trump impeached, which was a stupid fucking take there.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, the impeachment, that's way too far on that.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what, at the end of the day, the president has the executive order. So he has the right to say that what he wants his military to do. Now, do I agree with the whole like bombing deal? No, I don't agree with it because that's Israel and Iran's bullshit.
That's their business.
However, yeah, exactly. And as far as the whole operation goes, yes, sure, it was definitely a brilliant attack.
Operation
Midnight Hammer.
Midnight Hammer. There you go.
Midnight Hammer. Yeah, Operation Midnight Hammer. I mean, it was great. That was a great strategy. That goes down in the history books. As far as war strategy goes.
Yeah.
But other than that, was it necessary though? I mean, Dave Smith had a point about like, hey, all the intelligence were saying that they didn't have any, and I don't know if the president from Iran was telling the truth when he had the discussion with Tucker Carlson, saying that that they didn't have any nukes. But then at the same time, that's kind of backing up the intelligence what Dave Smith said.
Yeah, I get you there. But here's the thing. I don't want to just go and believe a lot of these intelligence agencies where they have an agenda behind it. We got to have it with speculation, right? Even when Tucker interviewed the Ayatollah, right? He stated, and I mentioned this earlier in the podcast before you came on. Remember when he stated that it's actually against the Muslim religion to have nuclear bombs, which is it's kind of a ridiculous statement. The next time I run into a Muslim on panel, I got to ask them that question if it's against their religion, because I already know they haven't seen that interview. So I'm going to ask that question, very straightforward, if it's against their religion, so I can kind of get to the bottom of an actual Muslim that can tell me that. So we'll see moving forward, but I just smell like it's a lie because these Muslims lie, bro.
I mean, Iran is Muslim, right?
Yeah,
is that correct? Okay, so I mean, I don't know. Doesn't the Quran say pretty much, basically an eye for an eye?
Yeah, but apparently the Quran also states that if you're lying on the behalf of Allah, it's perfectly okay to lie to people. So this could be a page taken from that. I don't know. I got to ask a Muslim and debate that with them. So we'll see moving forward to get to the bottom of that, rather than looking it up, etc. I could just ask a Muslim on this, right?
Yeah.
Put them through the Socratic method.
Yeah, because I don't think there's anywhere that says that they're not allowed to have nuclear weapons. Other than that, I mean, I'm sure there's Middle Easterns that do have it.
Yeah, yeah. There is actually 100% that there is. I think it's I forgot the name of the country that has it, but we'll move on here.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to insert myself because I don't want us to talk past each other because these conversations have a tendency to do that. So I'm going to ask both of you a critical question that both of you guys already launched. Josh, to you first. Dave's contention, and Dave, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that
they are
the
cool with
nuclear
lying,
program
bro.
was not a threat.
They are.
Correct?
So
that
we can't trust the Ayatollah.
Intel
That's my
push.
point there.
Would you even say
Yep.
that? I'm strong-manning your argument, steel-manning it. Josh, what do you have to say to that, to the veracity of the claim that there was an imminent threat of Iran getting a nuclear bomb? That is a core point of Dave's argument. Then, Dave, I'm going to throw back an equally difficult question for you.
Okay, this is a
So
good
I
question.
profess agnosticism as to the imminent nature, Charlie, because I have not seen the reports. Neither have you, neither has Dave. Literally, no one in this room has actually seen the report. So I do not know literally what the exactly imminent nature of the threat was. It would be impossible for me to say. I'm not going to bullshit you and pretend like I know because I simply don't know. What I can say is the following. Iran has transparently and obviously been trying to acquire a nuclear weapon for 2.5, 3 decades. We know this for approximately 1 to 2 million different reasons. Among them that we can point to is that the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Administration, which is essentially the nuclear watchdog for the United Nations, they have been sounding the alarm about this, and they have said very loudly and clearly that Iran has blocked their inspectors from going to inspect their enriched uranium, and that they have concluded over recent years, especially including recent months, that Iran is enriching uranium at a much quicker rate and to a much higher percentage and rate of enrichment than any civilian program would ever justify. By the way, the notion that Iran even needs a civilian program in the first place, I think, is kind of bonkers. It's one of the most petroleum, oil, and gas-rich countries in the world, so that's kind of a bit of a red herring in and of itself. But we know from a million different international organizations that they have been doing this. And Charlie, more to the point, again, Dave likes to say, oh, they just chant death to America, which they do. They literally chant it every single day in their Potemkin parliament. But they actually do act on it. They killed hundreds and hundreds.
I agree with you, Catherine. I agree with you. I'm not going to put that on screen, though. What's up?
No, I said fuck them both.
yeah. We could do that. Fuck them both. We're not talking about Israel or Islam.
Wink, 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 wink,
wink, wink, wink, wink. YouTube. All right. We love all foreigners here in the United States.
Of American soldiers on the roadside of Fallujah, Al-Anbar province during Iraq.
What's up?
Well, did you say something to what he just said about you said something about the whole debt to America that
right.
What last time I was over there in the valley, you told me about that you don't think that they will be saying debt to America if they didn't have any defenses in Israel.
Yeah. So I can kind of elaborate on that. Yeah. A big reason why a lot of the people over there in these eastern areas do chant death to America is because the United States is the biggest funding of Israel. The only reason Israel has the 4th biggest army in the world is because of the United States. So the people of in the Middle East and the governments all hate the United States because they fund them so much money that they can defend themselves and cause a lot of these chaos around the eastern hemisphere, right? So one big reason why they don't like the United States isn't because our women are walking around without burqas. No, it's because they're one of the biggest allies. No, is the biggest ally of Israel. That's right. One huge caveat of why they chant death to America. So good point on that, dude. Yeah, I did mention it the last time you were here. I've never mentioned that on stream, so that's good that you reminded me on that. Yeah, for sure. Wait, hold on. All is a what? Stretch. All is a stretch. Okay.
Qasem Soleimani supplied IEDs. They have killed Americans going back to the 241 Marines in Beirut, Lebanon. By the way, the Hezbollah jihadists who organized that operation to slaughter those Marines in Beirut, Lebanon in 1983 was a man by the name of Fuad Shakur. The U.S. State Department had a $5 million bounty on his head following the 1983 slaughter of the Marines there in Beirut. He went alive for 41 years. You know who killed him last?
I did hear about that, by the way. They said death to America in Dearborn, Michigan. I remember seeing the videos on that. Yeah, that was 10 minutes away from the hotel. I did not know that, though. I don't know if you mentioned that when we were over there. You said all foreigners.
He didn't mention.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a stretch. I get you there. Well, you know what? I don't care for foreigners to come into the United States and tell us how to live life. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. There's plenty of good foreigners out there, but yeah, I'll just leave it at that. All right.
We're the ones that don't know how to assimilate to the American.
Oh yeah, definitely. They said debt to America. Yeah, so I didn't know that was 10 minutes away from the hotel, Ghost. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Unless you told us that. I don't remember you saying that. But I do remember seeing those videos that it was in Dearborn, Michigan. And I remember that shit. Big old fucking rally of Muslims chanting that shit. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is why I don't care for foreigners too much. You know, even if they are here, they're from a foreign land. Blah, 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 blah. Let's be 100 about that. You know, let's just be 100. Based. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Year, the IDF. Israel took out this guy that the State Department had a $5 million bounty on for 41 years for killing 241 of our boys back in 1983 in Beirut.
So I'm going to now ask, I'm going to a really tough follow-up for you. You do not want Iran to get a nuclear weapon. Bad. Would you, if it ever took, if it required U.S. troops on the ground, would that be worth Iran not getting a nuclear weapon?
Now that is a good question right here. Boots on the ground in order to prevent them from having a nuclear weapon. Let's see what he says on this. This is a good one.
Even to my point about this whole nuclear deal, what was the big deal about them having a nuclear weapon in the first place if everybody else has it?
No, I get you there. Yeah, if everybody's got guns, you're more likely to play nice. This is why gunmen don't shoot up gun ranges. They shoot up what? Schools. Because it's a no gun zone. Let's just be 100 about it. This is the human psychosis, right? If they know that you're armed with something big, they're gonna play nice with you to a bigger degree than if they know that you're disarmed. That's just human fucking nature at that point, right? So I understand where you're coming from on that, right?
Yeah.
There are many Sharia law consuls. How do you say that?
Consuls.
Consuls. Okay, there you go. In London State and West.
Londonians or something.
Okay, yeah, in Wales now.
Uh-oh.
I have no idea what the fuck that is. Some type of fucking sound that fucking Muslims make, maybe.
I think you tried to refer to Afghanistan.
Oh, okay. Fair enough on that. Everybody in other countries don't say dates. Yeah, that is true too, man. Aztec Phoenix, good to see you in the fucking chat, my friend. Good to see you in there. Yes, not the gun rings. Whispers of history. Yeah, smoke that cigarette, bro. Have a good cigarette. Let's fucking keep it rolling, guys. I love it, man. Fucking based. Love the chat right here. We got a base chat today. Based fucking chat, right? That's why those no gun signs at events make them more dangerous, not safer. Yeah, I agree. That's my point. So that's why, like, when OJ was saying, hey, if they all have nuclear weapons, they're gonna play nice with each other because the nuke is really the gun of warfare at this point, right? Countries that don't have nukes are at a huge disadvantage. However, do I want all the countries to have nukes? Of course not. I'd prefer us to just have the guns. That's what I would prefer, right?
I will say, I wish that nukes never fucking existed. I think X-Men Apocalypse, show like, hey, where he took over and sent all the nukes out, and that was it. No more.
You're referring to a comic book, bro?
Yes.
Yeah, I like them too. I do like comics as well.
What you're criticizing,
you
bitch,
fucking nerd. Fucking nerd, bitch. Wolverine's gay. He's a homo now.
He might be. I'm just kidding. No, it's not.
No shit. All right, let's. Ghost says only Muslim women make that sound. Oh boy. All right.
Charlie, with respect, I reject the premise. I simply do not think it does, actually.
I know. It's a hypothetical.
Okay, so right off the bat, he's rejecting the premise. Remember the question. If it requires the nukes to destroy the nuclear program, would you allow boots on the ground? Well, I'm just going to reject that premise because remember, he doesn't want to promote war. Once the boots hit the ground, that's fucking warfare right there. So he just wants to reject the premise off the bat and not answer this tough question. A very good question, by the way, that he gave him. But Dave Smith answered his. This guy just wants to reject the premise. Take a look at Josh Hammer here on this.
If it required U.S. troops on the ground, would that be worth Iran not getting a nuclear weapon?
Charlie, with respect, I reject the premise. I simply do not think it does, actually.
I know. It's a hypothetical.
It's hypothetical.
But it's worth thinking about. Okay. Dave.
What?
I got to ask you tough.
Did he seriously just fucking let him get away with that? Did he literally Charlie Kirk just let Josh Hammer say, yeah, I just reject the premise. Oh, yeah, I get it. It's a hypothetical, but we're thinking about, okay, Dave, here's your next really tough question. What the hell type of moderation is this, dude? He literally let him get away with not answering a tough, good question.
But it sounds like he was asking him a question, but like, hey, I want you to think about it like hypothetically. So like, hey, go on. With the hypothetical,
and then he switched to Dave Smith.
All right, Dave Smith.
So, something to think about, Dave. Dave, do you hate the Jews? This is his next question. Are you anti-Semitic Jew, Dave? Like, dude, what the hell kind of shit is that, dude? That's crazy, bro. Dave side skirts and Charlie Kirk is being a pushover. Is being a pushover anymore? Yeah, Dave Smith, bro. I mean, sorry, Charlie Kirk. Bad moderation on his end, that's for sure. No one comes up for a new name for Wells. Is that how you pronounce that?
It's another type of like royalty part of Wales that's from England.
Oh, right on, right. She's from Scotland, by the way, Catherine.
So Scotland, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is part of England.
Okay,
just the northern region.
Yeah. There you go. All right.
Questions now. Okay?
Yeah, but I want to respond to some of this stuff because all of that's wrong.
You will. Hold on. I don't want us to talk past each other, else we're going to spend all this time on prime ministers in 2002 that the audience doesn't know.
I really wish Dave would have pressed Charlie to force him to answer that hypothetical. But yeah. He didn't go to debate university then. Never mind.
No, but if he's making claims about like something that's just not true.
I want you to get to. I want to just ask a very simple question.
Come on, bro.
From your perspective, because I just asked the tough one to Josh. He
didn't answer it.
Are you okay?
He didn't answer the question.
No, but in technicality, he asked the tough question. But
I just asked the tough question to Josh.
Yeah, I just asked
which he didn't answer.
He did.
Now you can't respond to him. Let me ask you the next tough question. But it's also simple. Like, what is it then? Oh my God. Okay.
Or do you think we should do anything to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear bomb?
Anything, sure. Yeah, there's lots of things I think we should do.
Is military action ever justified?
Well, again, yes, there are times when military action is justified, but if you're saying what we could do to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, what we were doing, Donald Trump was in negotiations with them, and I think he should have continued those. And the truth is that the big problem with the JCPOA that Obama got us into was that there were sunset provisions.
But wait, I have something for you first.
They opened up a whole new inspections regime. It is not true that the IAEA is saying that Iran was about to get a nuclear weapon. Anybody you want, it's published online. You can go read the conclusion of their last report where they explicitly said Iran does not have nuclear weapons and is not trying to develop them. They are enriching at 60%, and they were in negotiations to maybe bring that down. But when you bring up the fact the Marines getting killed in 1983, it's actually an interesting. Ronald Reagan, who was president at the time, he wrote about this in his memoir. Now, if you know what Ronald Reagan did, was he pulled out after that. He turned tail and run. And he said in his memoir, he said, I underestimated the irrationality of Middle Eastern politics, and we never should have gotten involved in that. Now, if you want to say that Iran backed them, okay, couple years after that, Charlie, there was a scandal in the Reagan administration. It was the something Contra, Iran-Contra. That's right. Ronald Reagan was selling weapons to the Iranians a couple years after this happened. So to come back now 40 plus years later and use that as the excuse why we got to go to war with Iran. I mean, just think about how crazy this is. And the stuff he said about the roadside bombs in Iraq is just not true. It's been debunked. It's more war propaganda that's been debunked. I highly recommend anyone can...
Really quick. Yeah, bro. 100%. Bro, anybody can react to my content. Go ahead and do so. It's all free game. You don't even have to ask me permission. Don't even have to do it. Go ahead and do it if you want to do that. No big deal. There was another content creator that's there's been content creators bigger than me that have hundreds of thousands of subs that reacted to my content, and a few of them came over to the channel, and I very much appreciate them. But even if you're a small channel,
yeah, like Jake Rattlesnake was one of them.
Oh yeah, Jake's one of them.
Yeah,
Jake's one of them.
Reacted to at least to your debate with Destiny.
Yeah.
And he didn't ask for consent or anything. He just did it.
No, of course not. But also, Jake's a friend, so he knows it's gonna help me more than it helps him, right?
Yeah.
Fucking kind guy, bro, Jake Rattlesnake. But but even outside of Jake, there was other content creators that I don't even know who they are.
Remember we found one that did a reaction to you, did a short of your reaction. We found one on there. So yeah, good channel.
Yeah, very much so. But go ahead and do that, man. No, don't even fucking worry about it, man. Just started my channel and I'm doing more videos and reactions. So thank you. Yeah, no problem, dude. Go ahead and do your thing.
Post your channel on the chat, so.
Yeah. Well,
if you have
it has to do the wrench. You have to do the wrench thing.
Oh.
But yeah, guys, Grudge or anybody of the wrenches, if you can find his channel, go ahead and fucking put it in the chat, dude. No big deal. Especially if he's a newcomer. It's all good.
Read the book enough
Have
already.
you spoken to a
Josh?
It's,
1 second.
I highly recommend people read the book enough already. It is the best book that's been written about the terror wars by Scott Horton. He has all the footnotes in there. You can go through it yourself. It's completely debunked. Those roadside bombs were built by Shiites in Iraq. Now, some of them did have relationships with Iran, but the majority of Iraq is Shiite. So yes, we invaded the next door country and we got into some fights with the Shiite groups there. But to say that's a reason why we now have to invade Iran or we have to bomb them or something, it just doesn't make any sense.
One or two really quick, Chris, follow-ups,
Sure.
and then we'll do this. Both sides need to get under good cross-examination. Do you think it would be bad if Iran got a nuclear bomb?
Yes, I think it's bad. I think it's bad.
And I think we can all agree on that. That is a moral.
I just reject the frame of the question, Charlie. So I don't have to answer it now. Like, what the fuck?
I don't think anybody should be allowed to have nuclear weapons secretly.
Right. And so.
How about that?
I will ask Josh about that, because that's a not so subtle dig at Israel. However,
hold on. Are you suggesting that Israel has nuclear weapons?
I don't know, actually. They probably.
Oh, they probably no, they do. That's for damn sure they do. It's not confirmed because they always fucking bite around the question. No, we don't have nuclear arms. No, they totally fucking do. We know that they do. And that's why Dave Smith mentioned that if they're secretly having nuclear arms, how about I'm against that? And Charlie knew exactly where he was coming with it. And he wants to call that out as a moderator, by the way, which he's not supposed to do that, but he does it anyways, right?
So just doing a Google search on this. So, and it says believes. So it says Israel believes to propose around 90 nuclear warheads.
Okay. Opposed to believe.
Yeah.
As in it's not sure. They've insinuated it, but we don't know.
But see, it's funny to me that how we could say that, but when it comes to Iran, it was like, oh, they're almost close to accomplishing this nuclear weapon. They're a matter of weeks and months.
For the past 40 years, they've been saying this. It's like what?
Years.
For the past 40 fucking years, they've been saying this shit.
And then with this Trump administration, they did the same talking points, and nothing has changed from there. Like, oh no, they were almost close, so we had to do operate Midnight Hammer.
Midnight Hammer, which, by the way, you know what? I don't even care that they bombed the facilities, the nuclear facilities. I don't care about that either. I don't give a shit. They bombed the facilities. Who gives a fuck? I don't really give a fuck about Iran. What I do care about, they spent money to bomb that shit. Are we going to take that out of Israel's, annual paycheck? I think we should do that at least. Can we take that out?
I think when we saw that it cost about maybe $7 billion,
something like that. Can we take that out? Can we take that out of their fucking annual shit? I would like that at least. I would like that.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen, but I would like it.
I don't know the intelligence.
Didn't you say they're the fourth in place for the largest army?
Yeah, they have the fourth biggest army in the world. Right in front is the United States, Russia, China, and then Israel. So, yeah, it really goes to show, man. I'm just saying. Really goes to show.
We got first and fourth place.
We got first and fourth place. Yes, sir. We got first and fourth place. By the way, Grudgehead, thank you so much. He did put the link to his channel right there, guys. So you can go ahead and follow. Thank you so much.
Or Allwine?
Huh?
What's his name?
Allwine? Yeah. Allwine 722. So, yeah, man. Fucking welcome to the channel. Always appreciate you in the chat, man. So, yeah, God bless.
I will ask Josh about that because that's a not so subtle dig at Israel. However,
Hold on. Are you suggesting that Israel has nuclear weapons?
I don't know. Actually, they probably do.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know the intelligence. I'm not that of DNI, but I mean, they probably do.
They
But
probably
let me
do.
ask you, Dave. Now, another question. What is
Another
your
one.
now? Let's
How
just
come
say
we're not going to
criticism.
Josh Hammer?
Yeah. Josh is allergic to questions. This is why he always goes after Dave right here. You know, and Josh just doesn't like the format of the questions.
No U.S. troops were killed. It required no U.S. troops on the ground. There was no war. It lasted 12 days. Fordo was pretty eliminated. I mean, even the Iranians say it. So looking at it now, 12 days later, what is your problem with what seems to be a masterclass in 12 days, in, out, no problem, no U.S. troops, and we've kind of moved on? What would your problem with that be?
You know, I think, and I do think there's something really sick and poisoning about this, is that our country has become so addicted to war that if we launch a war and you go, well, hey, it wasn't a complete catastrophe. I mean, 1 million people didn't die in this one, like in Iraq, or hundreds of thousands didn't die in this one, like in
become numb to
Afghanistan, or
death.
Libya, or Syria. It's like,
Yeah, he's making the point that us as Americans have become numb to the idea of people dying.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at Lindsey
know?
Graham. Lindsey Graham is a
Right.
prime example of this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The warmongers, etc. Right? I think even like when it comes to Hollywood horror movies or video games, right? Especially young people that are kind of growing up with this shit. I grew up with that shit. Don't get me wrong. I grew up with Mortal Kombat. I love that shit. Don't get me wrong. I love the violence. I love that shit. But also to a degree, when it comes to the psychosis, I think it numbs you to the idea, especially if you're not looking at it, to be okay with it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's different between like video game simulation versus like
Sure,
okay,
but
reality.
yeah, but there is a huge difference. But I'm making the argument that I think it would numb your psychosis to the ideas of it. You know, I'm not saying it's going to cause you to go do a mass shooting or whatever, but even
Well, they did try to make that argument a long time ago.
yeah, no shit, right? Wait a second, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened? Jake to Jake raid. Did Jake fucking Rattlesnake just raid Project Veopod? Holy shit. Shout out to Jake Rattlesnake's crew right here, man. Good to see you guys in the chat. Holy shit, man. That shit jumped up really fucking quick. Thank you so much to Jake Rattlesnake. Yes, there he is. Sup, boys? Good to see you, man. Good to see you in the chat. Shout out to Jake Rattlesnake. Thank you so much for the raid, bro. And I have very familiar faces here because I'm in Jake's chat too. And so I chat with many of these dudes already. From Miss D to Mojo's in there. Never Lucky Rubber Ducky. Redfit. Yeah, dude, you guys. Fuck yeah, man. Shout out to you guys right here. Yeah. Jake getting Jake rattled. Jake getting Jake rattled from one Jake to the other Jake right here. Thank you guys so much for joining us right here, man. Glad to do that. So since now that we have a bigger audience, I got to fucking restate of what we're doing here. We are reacting to the debate that happened over there in Turning Point USA with Dave Smith versus Josh Hammer. Very, very good debate here, guys. So we're breaking it down. Glad to have you guys in here. Jake had something gay to go do. He had something gay to go do. I gotta go, guys. Here's a fucking here's a raid over to another Jake right here. Yeah, by the way, 11 likes. Come on, y'all. Yeah, please hire up those fucking likes now that we got a bigger crowd here, the Jake Rattlesnake crowd. Hire up the likes, guys, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Jake has done a reaction to my debate with Destiny, so some of you guys might recognize me from Jake's channel here and there. So really appreciate the raid. Thank you so much. Yeah, Josh Hammer was a near total fail. Yeah. So far it's bad, bro. So far it's bad. Breaking this shit down, dude. At one point, he literally told Charlie Kirk that he didn't like the premise. He didn't like the format of the hypothetical question that Charlie Kirk gave him, which was, if it takes boots on the ground in order to eliminate nuclear arms to Iran, would you do that? He's like, well, I just don't like the format of the question. Charlie's like, okay, cool. No big deal. Dave, next hard question to you. Like, it was
I already gave him multiple ones too.
Yeah, multiple ones. It's like we're not even hearing Josh Hammer's takes on this, you know? But yeah, guys, thank you, Miss D. Smash, share, sub, and of course, super chat, guys. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the love here. All right, so let's move on now that you guys are all caught up.
Okay, look, people died in this war, okay? There were both Iranian civilians and Israeli civilians who died in this war. It was a terrible thing for them and their families. This was a catastrophe. And my point is that the war never needed to be launched to begin with. But there's no reason why we even have to be enemies with Iran. They oppose no. This is a third world country in the Middle East that does not have nuclear weapons, does not have intercontinental ballistic missiles, does not have an air force capable of hitting us with anything. This is Israel's problem. We don't need to be involved in this. Sorry, we got our own issues here.
I agree with that. Yes.
And look, again, I'll give Donald Trump credit that, okay, it didn't turn into a catastrophe. He took the off-ramp when he had the chance. But look, a lot of that was out of Donald Trump's control. The risk of this war, like a lot of people love to, like Josh likes to read my tweets when I was saying this could turn into a catastrophe.
Because you were dead wrong and you look stupid.
Josh. Guys.
Okay.
Shout out to Redfish with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Didn't say anything. He's just supporting the stream. Really appreciate that, Redfish. The $10. God bless you, man. Appreciate it.
Don't say.
Hold on. No.
Let's de-escalate the stupid stuff.
Actually, what Josh is saying is the lowest IQ argument that anyone can make. I was warning that there's a risk of a catastrophe, and he's saying you're stupid because there wasn't a catastrophe. This is on the level of playing Russian roulette, and if the bullet doesn't go off, you go, see, dummy, you were warning that could go bad. That doesn't prove anything. Listen. For all you guys, you talking about how big and bad the Iranians are and what a scary threat they are, what if they hadn't given us advance notice? What if Iran was actually as suicidal as people like Josh pretend they are? And what if their response had killed a few hundred Americans in the region, which by all military assessments, they are capable of doing? What would Donald Trump have had to do then, Charlie? What would he have done?
I'm not the moderator.
No. Okay, sorry.
See, that's the thing. No, Charlie is challenging Dave Smith. Like I said, Charlie is putting all the fucking pressure on Dave Smith. He's not actually asking good questions. He asked one really tough question to Josh Hammer, to which Josh Hammer said he doesn't like the format. Then he moved on. He's focusing on fucking on Dave. It seems like Charlie Kirk is the one debating Dave Smith at this point. And this is why I put in the fucking title. It's Dave Smith versus Josh Hammer and Charlie Kirk. And then Charlie wants to say, well, I'm just moderating, bro. I'm just moderating, Dave. don't attack the moderator, right? It's a fucking complete cop-out on that, bro. Rob's But yeah, dude, fucking insane on this, man.
Come on, Dave.
It was a rhetorical question.
I know, but both sides are getting tough questions here.
The point is,
yeah, right.
Donald Trump would have had to respond even harder.
How many would have?
Yeah,
going to happen?
Call him on that.
Let's give Josh a chance to respond.
Yes,
but first,
Josh, it didn't happen. It's a counterfactual.
1 second.
You hadn't have had.
$5 super chat comes from Joel Dalton. He says Josh Hammer equals discount Shapiro. Yeah, that is fucking true. Discount Shapiro, man. I could totally see that. And by the way, it's funny because I've never heard of this guy, Josh Hammer, before this debate. He started off the debate by shaming Dave Smith. Remember, guys, Dave Smith called Donald Trump a bitch. Remember this debate, okay? The debate topic is on Israel. He started off shaming Dave Smith right off the bat. That had nothing to do with the fucking argument in the first place. So, yeah, this is a total fucking... discount Ben Shapiro here, dude. I can see that.
when people talk over each other, they don't like listening to that. So that's why I'm here. Josh, I want you to respond to that. But to Dave's point,
I like listening to it.
Do you think Israel has a secret nuclear program? And is that a problem?
I think it's not particularly disputed that Israel has a nuclear program. We know exactly where it is based. This is not a particularly hidden thing there. I mean, it's so well known, in fact, Charlie, that I don't know exactly why it's officially a secret.
This is a stupid fucking question, by the way. Again, do they have a nuclear program? Yeah, sure, of course, right? But do they have nukes? That's the real question. Does Israel have nukes? Now, they've always bit around that question. We don't know for sure if Israel has nukes. But however, we can kind of insinuate that they do. That's the real question. Do you believe that Israel has nukes? That's the real question here. As far as facilities, of course.
Unofficially, it's not much of a secret.
They have nuclear facilities that can be used for energy. It doesn't have to be used for nukes.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a fucking stupid question.
Yeah, it's such a softball question, bro.
I'm non-Israeli. I have no idea why the exact policy is the way it is. I don't particularly have a program with it. As I said,
they stole the nukes from the U.S.
Secrets. It kind of just,
That's true too.
just is what it is. But more generally speaking, I don't
funded
understand
it, bro. Literally
why
funded
we're
it.
going so far down this rabbit hole of would've, could've, should've. The people, look, let's say something very simple here. The people who said that Donald Trump's involvement in the 37-hour operation of the B-2 bombers flying from Missouri to Iran and back with not a single shot fired at our boys. By the way, as I said, that was partially due to the fact that the IDF had so neutralized the Iranian Air Force and their defenses there. So the fact that he was able to accomplish that so amazingly there, we should have seen that coming, because it was actually pretty easily foreseeable. And the people who did not see that coming are the people who have lost credibility to comment, frankly, on these affairs. People who warned about thousands and thousands and thousands of dead American lives, who said that China and Russia would swoop in and that this would be World War III. Well, you know what? God bless you all, because you apparently survived World War III. It was the shortest World War III of all of our lifetimes.
I didn't.
Now, that was a good point. We did have a lot of fucking right-wing pundits saying, oh, this could lead to a World War III. We had Tucker Carlson saying stuff like that, etc. Right?
But
that
I
is
mean, but to Dave Smith's point, though, he did say that could it potentially lead to that, regardless, you know, and even you and I speculated about this.
Yeah, we did.
That this is going to war. Like, we never thought, like, okay, hey, Donald Trump was only going to have it last for like 12 days and that was it and it's done. I mean, great. I'm glad that fucking happened overall, but
sure.
It could have gone south.
It could have gone sour, but I understand the criticism there. We did have a lot of fucking pundits really emphasizing that WW3, right? We did see that. Did it lead to that? No. But however, the administration is not over. And Benjamin Netanyahu at this point is on trial. Benjamin Netanyahu actually benefits from having war with not only Iran, but also with Gaza, okay? So he's avoiding trial right now as we speak through these wars. Why wouldn't it be a benefit for Netanyahu to continue these conflicts? That's the point there. And I don't think Charlie Kirk's going to bring this up during the debate at all. He's not. He's not going to bring up the trial of Benjamin Netanyahu. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does. We still have plenty of debate to go. So we'll see.
Dave, I restrain Josh. Josh, keep going.
Again, this is the Donald Trump foreign policy doctrine in action. It is quick surgical strikes. Roger Stone was talking about earlier. It's exactly right. He is not a neocon. Neoconservatism, bad. Isolationism, also naive and stupid. Donald Trump agrees with both those things. The nationalist, realist, MAGA, America First approach to foreign policy is to have strong nationalist allies that are generally capable of securing and patrolling their own regions in a way that redounds not merely to the allies' national interests, but also to the American national interest. That is exactly what Israel has been doing for 40, 50 years as they have taken out Islamists and Sharia supremacist thugs in Gaza, in Yemen, Hezbollah. I mentioned Fuad Shakur, the Hezbollah jihadi who killed 241 Marines in Beirut, Lebanon, 1983. There's a million examples there. That is the definition of an America First ally. And what just happened in the 12-day war is an encapsulation of the America First Trump doctrine, that in this case, this tag team between the U.S. and Israel against the mutual threat of Iran in action.
Okay, so I want to now move, because it's important, but it's connected. So I think we have on full display a difference of opinion on the 12-day war. Now let's go to the next one. It's inferred in both of these points, but you only get to answer it as yes or no one at a time. Is Israel an ally of the United States?
That's a good question.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So now
there
we
you
have
go.
disagreement. We're going to now figure that out. And then I want to then indicate it.
By the way, OJ, is Israel an ally to the United States?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay. All right. So I think we're both on agreement on that. I think we're on the Dave Smith side of this argument.
I think they just use the American dollar,
and they use it very well, by the way, very well. Okay, look, bro, the state of Israel is very, very smart. They're very smart when it comes to infiltrating the United States. I'll even tell you this: when it comes to the Middle East, death to America, all this other crap that they fucking that we see, they're very overt about their feelings of the United States. They're very overt about it. The state of Israel, however, are very covert about it. They want to get it from the inside, right? They don't want to let you know what their actual intentions are. Look, again, this is my opinion, all right? But from what I've seen, from what I've heard, from what I've researched, they're literally covert ops for Israel. And people like Charlie Kirk has bought into that propaganda.
That is Israel influencing American politics? So I'm going to start with Josh, and then we'll go back to Dave. You say Israel is an ally. Spend a minute on that, and then address how some people have concerns that Israel is influencing the U.S. government, and then I'll allow Dave to have some time. Josh.
All right, there's multiple reasons why Israel is an ally. First and foremost, I think most people in this room are believers of some stripe, right? I am Jewish.
Okay, he's going to talk about from a religious point of view that, the Bible says to back up Israel. So this is going to be his first argument. The Holy Land, etc. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be the first argument coming out of Josh Hammer's mouth. All right, cool.
Most of you are probably Christians, and God bless you for that. If you have any attachment whatsoever to the holy sites, if you have any attachment whatsoever to this narrow strip of land between the river and the sea, as the Hamas propagandists call it, then you're going to have some reason to care about this particular sliver of land. That's point number one. Let's just kind of get it out there, especially if you understand that we in Western civilization are fundamentally at war with barbarism, barbarism being best represented by the Islamists and Sharia supremacists. When you understand that Western civilization really just is the Bible, there is a special calling to have an ally with a certain part of the Middle East. That's point one. Point two is just the Islamist deterrent point, Charlie, which is that America has faced jihadism time and time again, going back for 40, 50 years. 9/11, obviously the most tragic example. We just saw it again on the streets of Bourbon Street in New Orleans on January 1st, just a few months ago there. If you care about deterring Islamism from conquering Western civilization, a point that you have very astutely been talking about a lot recently on your TV hits and on social media, a very, very important point. If you care about defending Western civilization from the barbarians, you absolutely have to place a special premium on this particular relationship. And then third is
Okay. So he's saying that we need to support Israel because they're mitigating many of the terrorist attacks that Islam is doing on the United States. That's his argument there, which is a fucking.
Are they doing that, or maybe just continuing the war so he could avoid trial?
Well, okay. Well, outside of that, let's talk about 9/11, right? Etc. Like all these speculations of terrorist attacks on the United States is that Israel is mitigating all these attacks. That's his argument here, which he doesn't really do a good job. He just mentions other attacks that happened. And then he's insinuating that if it wasn't for Israel, it could possibly be worse. He doesn't actually explain how or why, but okay, fine, fair enough.
If you actually care as I do, paradoxically, I actually care a lot about China. In fact, I think that America's by far #1 biggest threat this century is China. If you care about effectuating this broader pivot to the Indo-Pacific, as American foreign policy people have been talking about for 20, 30 years now, you have to have some way of stabilizing the Middle East. The way to do that is not to just adopt the stupid and asinine Barack Obama foreign policy of appeasing America's enemies. And the way to do that is to embolden your allies. Again, that is the Trump doctrine.
So we didn't get to the second part of the question. So do you want to just start on the ally, and then we'll do...
Yeah.
You can incorporate both, Dave. He had 2 answers in a row, so take 3 to 4 minutes.
Well, look, this idea that the great battle of our time is us versus the Islamists, us versus these barbarians, that's really the problem here in the United States of America. Lebanon, that's what you got to worry about. Listen, I think everyone here, all you guys should know this at this point. Our problem in America is the deep state of the United States of America. Okay? They're the ones.
Let's be 100 about
Donald
it.
Trump for treason. His own intelligence agencies framed the sitting U.S. president. And
Shout
you know
out to
what
you,
that
Chris.
deep state wants, by the way? Permanent war. That's what they always want. That's how they and their friends make their money. And so all of this talk is just so ridiculous, man. I mean, this talk about how, like, if you care about the holy sites in Israel, like, okay, sure. Obviously, Christians and Jews and Muslims have a connection to that land. But that doesn't mean we have to bomb Iran for Israel.
Who's saying that?
Doesn't... Well, we just bombed Iran. That was the first topic.
Who's saying that? We just did.
Okay. Anyway, it doesn't mean that we have to support Israel slaughtering people in Gaza.
Because let's be 100 about it, bro. Donald Trump taking out the facilities over there in Iran is a fucking huge benefit for Israel. It really is. Let's just be 100 about it. Now, do I oppose it completely? Not really, because I don't really give a shit that they fucking just bombed the nuclear facilities. However, that's what Israel wants. It's just the bombing of that. That's where Dave is coming on that point here.
None of that has anything to do with the holy sites. And in fact, a lot of sites get destroyed when there's bombs flying. But listen, the real problem for America, if you want to even talk about like the Islam taking over America or taking over Europe, well, how did that happen? That happened because we completely destabilized the region, fighting war after war after war that did nothing but slaughter hundreds of thousands of people. And then our Western governments had the most insane open immigration policy that was basically suicidal. We're doing this to ourselves. We're $37 trillion in debt, and we're looking for another enemy to go fight. Since the collapse of the Soviet Union, we've spent $20 trillion on empire and wars. And you know what? We can't tax enough money to pay for it. We can't borrow enough money to pay for it. So,
guys, I want to ask the chat here. I think Dave Smith is doing a pretty damn good job in this debate. Did Dave Smith purchase the Andrew Wilson Verbal Combat Debate University? I think he might have, because he definitely has improved his skills since the Dave Smith Andrew Wilson debate. But yeah, he does a great job here, dude. Like this, he's ripping it up. He's ripping Josh Hammer's asshole right now. So, so I think he might have gone to Debate University.
Clark is backing his ass up too, so it's like whatever.
Oh yeah. This is a 2v1, bro. This is a 2v1. You know? Yeah. Fair enough there on that. Smith for the W. Yeah, I agree. Redfish. He's doing really well. He's doing really well. I don't like Dave Smith one bit. But he is using logic, and he destroyed the fuck out of this Jew. Yeah, I agree, dude. That's the thing. I'm not a big fucking Dave Smith fan myself. I am not, you know. But he's doing a really good job. Dave has a lot of hours of debating now. Yeah, that is true. You know, he's got to get a part. I think he already had a part 2 with Andrew Wilson. He needs to get a part 3 here with Andrew on something else. I know they debated libertarian. I think they had a rematch. Yeah, I believe they had a rematch. I don't remember what the rematch was. The topic wise, or it might have been a conversation, to be honest. But yeah, good job on Dave Smith. He's doing a great job here handling Josh Hammer.
What do? We print the money. And now you guys are coming out into the world and you're wondering why you're 6 figures in debt from college and you're getting a job at DoorDash and the average house goes for $800,000 because we've destroyed the currency chasing these monsters that were never any threat to our country.
So
listen, one quick point.
Yeah, stop interrupting me, Charlie. Shut up,
the
Mod.
Nazis couldn't bring down America. Joseph Stalin and the commies couldn't bring down America. The British Empire couldn't bring down America. But
why do we need the Jews? Why do we need Israel? None of those guys could take us out. But we need Israel in order to mitigate terrorist attacks. That was his argument here. Yeah, it makes no sense to me, but okay. OJ, you got any takes on that before we move on?
No, I don't got anything.
Commies couldn't bring down America. The British Empire couldn't bring down America. But you think the Hezbollah in Lebanon are a threat to us? They're a problem for Israel to deal with. We
say
got
that
our
to
own
the families
problems.
of the Beirut barracks bombing in 1983. Seriously, say that to them. Have you spoken to the families of the people who have been killed in 1983 in Beirut, Lebanon, the people who have been killed by those IEDs in Iraq that you're just casually dismissing? Have you actually spoken to any of these families?
First of all, yes, I have.
The 9/11 families, any of them?
He's going to do anecdotal things. Have you spoken to these guys? Have you spoken to them, Dave? Really quick, join the VO Vigilantes today, guys. Yes, become a member. It's only, I think it's $3 to support the channel per month, bro. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Grudgehead, member for 10 fucking months. Shout out to fucking Grudge. One of my loyal wrenches here on this channel. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate it.
I have. Are
you aware of Iran's involvement in 9/11?
Yeah, okay. So you're just asking me questions over
Guys,
my attempt to answer them. Stupid.
This is why I'm here. So
no, it's not stupid. Stop. Shut up. Shut up, Mod. Damn. Shut up, Mod.
Just take a deep breath, because they want to see a debate where they can make their mind up. They don't want to see
right when it gets spicy, Charlie has to fucking interrupt and be like, "This is why I'm here. I need to calm shit down."
That's why you should just walk away.
Just Charlie, come on, bro. Let them fucking fight it out, bro. Horrible. What's up, Michelle? Good to see you in the chat as well.
Disruptive stuff. Okay, that's why this is going to be a different type of discussion. So let me both steelman your both arguments. You have to answer to me. Okay. So, Josh. Well, actually, to Dave first and then to Josh. Josh is saying What
geez.
about
Good one,
all of the Islamist death that they're responsible for? Beirut bombings. You mentioned the Shiite. That's basically the essence of your argument, right, Josh? By saying, did you talk to? He's saying, why are you minimizing this? That would be Josh's contention. Is that fair, Josh?
And 9/11, there's so many examples.
Right. Dave, respond to that, and then I will throw it back to Josh.
Well, I certainly don't think I in any way minimized any of those deaths. I made the point that that Ronald Reagan still sold weapons to Iran.
Appreciate you, Max Payne. By the way, yeah, guys, follow me on X, man. Really much appreciated. By the way, just an announcement, since I have many of you guys in the chat right now, I will be debating Destiny. It's going to be a rematch debate in Houston, Texas on August the 2nd on Travis Painberg's channel on YouTube. He'll be showing that debate live on Destiny's channel. Then it's going to get reposted on the Painberg channel. So just FYI for everybody, I will be debating Destiny, the Coomer Grinlin, Part 2, because I did debate him back in late April. So we'll be doing that again August 2nd in Houston, Texas. And so looking forward to that. So yeah, guys, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, because I'll definitely be doing a breakdown of my exchange with Destiny again. So you don't want to miss that. So yes, guys, like the fucking channel. And of course, Jake Rattlesnake sent you here for a fucking reason. He's another one of the friends to Project VOPod. Much appreciated to Jake Rattlesnake. Huge friend of the channel, so thank you so much. But yes, we will be going out to Houston to do that as well. So FYI.
Yeah.
Years after that, and I made the point that those roadside weapons were built in Iraq by Shiites there.
That is true.
That's not
too.
minimizing it.
That
This is a
correct.
huge part of the reason why we never should have invaded Iraq to begin with, because we get our bravest young boys killed. It's tens of thousands of them have committed suicide in the last few years, and that doesn't seem to stop anyone from wanting to pursue the next attack. So the point is, right, that I think if we want to really understand this,
Joel Dalton with the $5 says, if you look closely, you can see Charlie's puppet strings. Yeah, they're sending in that money to TPUSA right there. Say, Charlie, chill out. Which, by the way, there was already a tweet from the Israeli government saying to not platform Tucker Carlson, or they were insinuating that. It's a recommendation, Charlie, to not platform this anti-Semitic man named Tucker Carlson. Yeah. You definitely see the puppet strings there. Just saying. Jake also has an OF. Guys, go follow me on OF as well. I do have an OF, so go ahead and follow me on OF as well. Okay, that's where I show my butthole there. And if you want to get that, it's the same price as a membership on YouTube. You could pay $3 a month on YouTube and get this type of content, or $3 a month on OnlyFans, where you could see my hairy butthole. So you guys choose. Up to y'all.
But you have the Mexican version, so the only.
The Mexican. You got to pay in pesos. I only take pesos when it comes to OnlyFans. So just FYI, everybody. So just know that, right? I love Fuentes. What about y'all? I mean, I like the guy. He's okay.
Yeah,
he's okay. I don't have anything against Fuentes. In fact, I did see his interview with Candace Owens. I did see his interview with Candace Owens. Really, really good exchange with him and Candace. I would love to actually do a breakdown of that, but unfortunately it's copyrighted because Candace has it under a paywall, so it can't actually be reacted there. I could maybe do some clips and give my thoughts there, but yeah, that was a great exchange, guys. You should definitely watch this that after the stream, of course. Ew, butthole hairy. Well, you got to pay $3 to see it, motherfucker. So yeah. Anyways, all right, let's move on.
Stuff. It's wise to look at what some of the motivating factors for the hatred against us is. All you got to do is listen. Yes, I have talked actually to families of people who have died in Iraq. You know what? Overwhelmingly, they're non-interventionist, anti-war people now. In fact, did you know that in 2008 and in 2012, Dr. Ron Paul got more money from active duty military than all the other candidates combined, including Barack Obama, because the active duty military are actually the ones who are the most hardcore anti-war.
Again,
so don't invoke them to try to sell another war.
But Dave, I'm going to follow up with a tough question. I want you to make the case, because I don't want to have you be able to.
The other guy now. I thought he was gonna ask the question to the other
I
guy
know,
now.
I know. He said that prior before, right? Dave, let me ask you a tough question. He answers the question beautifully. Now, I'm going to shoot it back to him afterwards. No, Dave, I have another question for you as a rebuttal to that. See the biases there. Just going back to the last super chat we had, we can see the puppet strings on Charlie Kirk here at this point. This is how bad it is, bro. I mean, look, I'll even say this, guys. I'll even say this. Do I like Charlie Kirk? I don't hate the guy. However, back in 2019, when he was promoting the drag queens of Turning Point USA, now he's bringing in Nala Ray as a speaker, a former corn star who's been sucking knob for fucking most of her fucking career. That's how they know who she is. Now converted to Christianity. Yeah, this is kind of a problem. This is kind of a fucking big deal here when you have Charlie Kirk promoting not only feminism or drag queens, right? The MAGA drag queen person. All these people. What else? Blair White. That's another one too. Like, these are all fucking liberals. Like, at the end of the day, Charlie, to a degree, is a liberal conservative. You know, he calls himself conservative, but really, he has a lot of liberal tendencies here. He really does. And so I'm just saying, look, Israel over there in Israel, bro, they have some of the biggest pride parades in the world. One of the biggest ones, okay? It's not like Israel's so conservative where they're anti, degeneracy, because they're not. They're not. So I'm just putting it out there, man. I don't hate the guy, but the dude has some good takes on certain topics, and I can agree with him on some certain topics. But outside of that, man, the dude isn't so well in my book overall. That's all. I'll leave it at that.
I think he's clout chasing.
You think he's what?
I think he's clout chasing.
Nah, bro, this guy's got a lot of clout. This dude literally has connections with Trump.
I know. He has a big, huge influence on a lot of shit. I mean, I'm not saying that, but it's just like, I guess what I mean by that is going with a narrative. You know, like, hey, at the time the narrative was like, oh, we're now promoting all these, F words everywhere. It's like, all right. And so he followed along, like, oh, look, they're also in the conservative side too. So
I get
whatever, dude. Like, I think it's stupid, but I think now he changed his position on that, if I'm not mistaken. He doesn't really promote that shit anymore.
No, he did because he got a lot of flack and it didn't work. Because he wanted to do the big tent conservative movement. Remember that shit? The big tent?
Yeah.
Trump ended up losing in 2020. So it didn't work. So he's kind of backtracked on that. And I can agree with you on that certain level that he has done that. But however, Charlie is still... He's still a liberal at heart when it comes to Christian, especially Christian ethics. Doesn't do a very good job on that. But I'll leave it at that.
To get past this, you say Israel is not an ally. That is not an opinion that people hear a lot. Why is that?
Look, all I'm saying is Israel has at every turn, and look, again, when I say Israel, I'm talking about the government of Israel. I'm not talking about the people there. And I'm specifically talking about Benjamin Netanyahu and the Likud party, who have been in control for most of this time, for most of my lifetime. And most of the 21st century. And so when I say they have been constantly pushing America toward more aggressive policies, toward getting in more fights. And just like I always say, if you went out to the bar every single night with your friend, and every night your friend's trying to convince you to get into a fight, and while you're beating a lot of people up, you're also taking a lot of wounds, and you're going to jail, and you're getting in trouble, you got to stop hanging out with that friend. And so I think that my position, I don't believe in wars of aggression and wars of choice. I don't believe in sanctions. I don't believe in that. We should be friends with Israel. We should trade with Israel and have a good relationship with them. But you know what? I also don't believe in welfare, and they shouldn't get another dime of U.S. taxpayer money.
Right on.
And they should not.
Right on. Yeah. I can get you there.
So
hold on. Their lobby.
Making peace, like Dave Smith's whole argument is making peace with the world. That's it. Just make peace with the world. We can trade with the world. That's that, right? Very simple. Very simple argument there. Very simple take.
Their lobby should register as a foreign
That's
agent,
a good segue. That too.
And they should stop blackmailing our politicians.
Got it. So, back to Josh.
Yes.
Back to Josh. Dave had some uninterrupted time there. Let's now address that because, again, there's a text chain. I have all the text to prove it. Everyone knew where this debate was going, right, Dave?
U.S. first, fuck the rest.
Josh, you knew that there are some concerns, and Dave mentioned it, such as, I think you're saying AIPAC. Is that correct?
Well, the broader Israel lobby,
fine.
but that's certainly part
Yeah,
of
there's
it.
many.
Can you address this, Josh?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this is a question people are confused about. Take 2 to 3 minutes on this, and then build out the ally Israel at the end of
You
it.
can only
But
take 30
Josh, Dave is making a point. I'd like you to respond to.
Well, I don't like the format of the question, Charlie.
Okay, so, first of all, I'm not a fan of APAC. I have,
fuck outta here, bro.
I donated once to
Bullshit.
APAC, $54, like a decade ago, and I basically got swindled into doing it. So
Fuck outta here.
I'm not a fan of APAC. But APAC is not this nefarious boogeyman that Dave Smith and people make it out to be. It stands for America-Israel Political Action Committee. It is a group of Americans who place a premium on the U.S.-Israel relationship the same way that the NRA is a group of Americans who place a premium on the Second Amendment. I do too. I'm a concealed carry kind of guy myself. Same way that there are any number of other lobby groups that support any number of other things. By the way, there's also similar groups similar to APAC for American citizens who support U.S. relations with other foreign countries. Funny how these other groups never get brought up in this debate. For instance, anyone who's been to Glendale, California, you've probably heard folks in ANCA. That's the Armenian National Committee of America, a very loud, active group in Washington, D.C. Perhaps more nefariously, there is the NIAC, the National Iranian American Council. It's funny how in these debates, when you talk about various American citizens who get involved to lobby or to express their political opinion, as the First Amendment gives you the right to do, because they think that the U.S. national interest is served by allying with a certain country, it's funny, and perhaps a little worse than funny, how the whole register as a foreign agent talking point comes up only in one context and one context only, which is APAC. Look, the notion, Charlie, that APAC, which again I'm not a fan of, I have literally.
Why? Why though? I'm curious to know why he's not a fan of that.
I'm not a fan of APAC.
Why are you not a fan of it?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
good.
APAC for the reason that I'm just about to give, actually.
Okay.
Which is that APAC exists, their raison d'etre, their entire purpose for existing is to secure large-scale annual appropriations, currently about $3.8 billion annually, in U.S. aid to Israel. I'm not a particularly big fan of foreign aid in general.
Okay, so funny thing is that I've heard a lot of Jewish individuals do this. So if you remember, there was a debate on Slightly Offensive. It was it was Fuentes and Vincent versus Gavin McInnes and Adam King. Adam said the same thing. Well, I'm not a fan of the aid. We don't really need it. Gavin said, yeah, I've spoken to so many people over there in Israel. They say, yeah, we don't really need the aid. It's nice, but yeah, we don't really care for it. We don't really like it. He's saying that he's not a fan of AIPAC because AIPAC advocates to get that foreign aid to Israel. This is just a fucking bottom line that, hey, we're actually on your side. We are American first. Us as Americans, American Israels, we are American first. We don't actually like the aid. However, we don't advocate to take it away. That's the difference there, right? They're not advocating to take away the aid because they know they're fucking full of shit. If it wasn't for the United States, Israel wouldn't have the fourth biggest army in the fucking world right now. If it wasn't for the United States.
For a small country, no.
Oh, not even close. Not even fucking close, bro. There's no way that I believe any of these fucking Jews, any of these fucking little hat people that state this type of statement saying that we just don't even like the aid. This is why we don't like AIPAC. Fucking crazy, bro. Crazy ass fucking takes from these individuals where they say something crazy dumb like that.
And I've been arguing for literally a decade that the U.S. should wind down foreign aid to Israel in particular. I think it actually is a bad idea for both countries.
Do we have agreement on that?
For both countries?
Yeah.
It's a bad idea to give more money to Israel because it's bad for them. That's weird.
Oh, it's not bad for them. Bad for us.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, how is a country having more money bad for them, bro? That's going to be a question, a follow-up question that I would have for him. That's weird. That is fucking total. That's what I'm saying. These people are lying. They're lying out of their teeth. This is why he says something like it's bad for the United States, which I agree that. But it's also, and I can actually articulate why that's bad. And then also it's bad for Israel. I have no argument there. How is it bad for Israel? I have no fucking idea. I need to hear his take on that.
If you want to wind it down to zero tomorrow, we have agreement on that.
It can't
sure.
be tomorrow
But yes,
because
I'd support winding it down.
So we have
too.
agreement on an end point?
Yes, sure.
Okay, keep going, Josh.
Yeah, so you obviously...
Facts.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are good people. They just cheered for agreement. I like this crowd.
I like that redefinition there. American Israel propaganda. And, dude, that's such a good... That's so good, man. Shout out to you, bro. That's so good. I like that.
That's the point. We're not here just to hurl insults.
Yeah.
You could do that online. This is here to actually have some sort of. We're a nation. These are our fellow citizens. We got to figure this stuff out. Josh, keep going.
Yeah, so you obviously can't do it tomorrow because that would be to betray an ally in the middle of a hot war. That would send a terrible signal to other allies, Saudis, Emiratis, you name it. So you can't do it tomorrow. But I do agree that you should have a game plan 5, 10, 20 years, whatever it is. I don't really care. Honestly, get a game plan in place to phase out this aid. It's not good for the United States. It's crony capitalism, Eisenhower defense industrial complex, Boeing, Northrop Grumman. All of that is totally true. And then from Israel's perspective, it's also bad for them too, because it makes them overly reliant. It actually ends up undermining the entire notion of Zionism, the notion that the Jews should control their own right to their own existence in their own homeland. It undermines Zionism in the long run. So it's actually bad for both countries. But Charlie, this notion that AIPAC is this big, powerful lobby can be dispelled with literally one anecdote. And I only need one anecdote to dispel this oft-repeated notion, which is the entire 2014 to 2015 Barack Obama-Iran nuclear debate. The fact that the JCPOA, Barack Obama's Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action nuclear deal passed, is literally the singular data point that disproves the entire alleged existence of the nefarious Israel lobby that controls all politicians there. They failed epically to get that passed. But I do have a question, Charlie, for Dave there, which is...
I will translate it.
Okay. Well, Charlie, I would be very, very curious, based on Dave's recent tweets about Donald Trump doing XYZ things, whether it's covering up for a pedophile ring or engaging in...
All right, so he's insinuating the tweets that Dave, if you guys remember, that Trump did send bombs to the nuclear facilities. Dave was advocate about Donald Trump being impeached, which was a dumb take. Hated that take, stupid fucking take from Dave Smith. Now he's also stating about the Epstein files that Dave Smith says, yeah, this is bad. Trump needs to get criticized for covering up the Epstein files, which I agree with Dave Smith on this. Remember, over here, Josh Hammer is appealing to the audience. We all love Trump. Trump cannot do anything wrong. Remember, Dave Smith said this about Trump on the Epstein files. Dave Smith said this, XYZ, about Trump after he bombed the facilities over there in Iran. So he's going to appeal to the audience again, like he did in the beginning of this debate. Let's see where it goes.
Foreign wars, all on behest of a foreign power. Does Dave actually think that Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and the entire Trump administration are literally bought off by the Jews? Is that actually your honest stance?
Okay, so what Josh is asking...
Well, first off, well, it's always, look, all of this, I mean,
and I
literally...
do have a tough follow-up for you.
No, but I'm sorry, but just like everything you just said, like all of it, I just find to be like the cheapest debate tactics. First off, I never said anyone's bought off by the Jews.
He didn't
We're
say
both
that.
Jewish, and that's a dirty little trick you play. When I'm talking about...
By the way, Project VealPod is actually bought off by Dave Smith, who is a Jew. FYI, this is why we're backing up Dave Smith on this debate. FYI, we are being paid by Dave Smith, who is a Jew. So there's some truth
How much
to
is
this.
paying us?
Well, you don't know. I'm getting all the money. I'm not telling you.
I'll look
You
for the studio.
No shit,
Remember, I
bro.
manage everything in the back.
Yeah, exactly. My manager's not getting anything right here. I'm Jewing you over, bro. I'm Jewing you out. All right, really quick. Josh makes emotional arguments. Yeah, Josh makes emotional arguments. That's what I'm saying, dude. He goes back to the emotional aspect of the crowd. Crowd loves Trump. Yeah, exactly. This is all appeal to emotion. It's fucking stupid tactic, especially when you're going into the debate with Dave Smith. Something professional like this. Fucking horrible.
Non-Jewish guy on
Well, I'm
stage.
talking about a foreign... Yeah, I'm talking about a foreign government, and then you kind of imply. And no, again, this is all just straw men. It's this whole thing of like Dave saying AIPAC is this big bad monster that controls everything.
You just
and
said foreign
hold on.
agents.
Therefore, if I have one data point of where a policy that AIPAC didn't want gets through, that disproves the whole narrative.
Exactly.
And then this distraction with talking about the Armenian lobby or this other, it's like, yeah, well, if we were having a discussion about that, maybe that would come up.
He totally did get a discount on that fucking debate university, bro. He did. He definitely did. That's what I'm saying. Dave's doing a great job here, bro. I think Dave went to debate university from Andrew Wilson, and I think he got a discount on that. So props to Dave. Yeah. He's doing a great job with this, calling out these fallacies. Great job on that, bro.
We're talking about this. And to compare AIPAC to the NRA, who, by the way, are kind of sellouts and don't go nearly far enough. But like, I'm a hardcore gun rights guy.
We got more agreement. We love our guns, don't we, everybody?
Yeah. No, you know the NRA guys who always go, the key is to enforce existing gun laws. No, the key is to repeal every last one of the existing gun. There should be one law, the Second Amendment. That's the law. Okay, but all that, no, it is totally different to have a group of Americans advocating for a constitutionally protected natural right for American citizens than to have a group of Americans advocating for a foreign government in conjunction with that foreign government. That's a different thing. And to even, let me finish, Josh, and to even compare them is ridiculous. And listen, by the way, I'll just say this. Every single person in this room, you have to hate AIPAC. You don't even have a choice. You're here at Turning Point USA. AIPAC contributes millions of dollars to woke progressive Democrats if they support Israel.
That's true, too.
In other words, it's okay to destroy our country as long as that helps Israel. So I'm sorry, I don't know.
So really quick, just to emphasize, Dave Smith is totally 100% right on this. When it comes to the foreign aid, the lobbyists of the Jewish community here, guys, look, they don't care whether you're Republican or you're Democrat. So long as you support the funding of Israel, it's all good. It's all fucking dandy. This is why when it comes to Congress and they vote on issues when it comes to Israel, it's all bipartisan. There's no arguments. There's no debates about it. It's all bipartisan for the past fucking 20, 30 years since my existence, bro.
Yeah.
All right? And more so.
We have Mike Johnson that, hey, here's more funding.
Here's more funding.
The moment he got in as Speaker of the House.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, we're passing the bill. We thought like, he's going to stop it. Nope. Pass.
Nope. No, nothing. So that's what I'm saying. This is a bipartisan thing when it comes to Democrats and Republicans. There's no debates on this, okay? Dave Smith brings in a good point, is that these Jewish lobbyists do also donate to Democrats that support chopping off the genitals of children. They chop off the genitals of children, which is a net negative for the United States. So Israel doesn't care. These lobbyists don't give a shit that they're funding politicians that are a net negative for the United States. They don't care. As long as you're for Israel and you support them, that's all they give a shit about. Does not fucking matter. Which, by the way, I think it's AIPAC. They have a 97% success rate on politicians that they fund. It's a huge rate. There's a huge fucking success rate when it comes to AIPAC alone, just AIPAC alone. So think about that. Think about that. Think about how much control that they have within our lobbyist system. That's what Dave Smith is bringing up right now. And he has a problem with that, and so do I. So does OJ. So does the chat here, okay? We all have issues here. So yeah, Jake, Nixon was the last president to stand up to put Israel in its place. Yeah, and Nixon is considered one of the downer presidents. A lot of people, you know, when Nixon got into power, what was it, the 80s, OJ, or late 70s?
No, I think it was, or
late 70s, no?
70s or 60s, something like that.
Somewhere around there, but yeah.
But even then, the whole Watergate situation.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah. So I'm just saying this, man. Fuck it. They have a lot of fucking influence within our government, and they have for fucking years, you know? So yeah, I think this is what Dave Smith is talking about here.
Turning Point USA, this is my first time here. Quick question. Are we allowed to support groups that contribute millions of dollars to woke progressive Democrats? Because I thought the answer was no.
So look, he got booed. Did you hear that? He called out Turning Point USA also gets funded. Are we allowed to call out groups that fund Democrats? Did you hear that shit?
Yep.
Listen to the crowd there.
Of dollars to woke progressive Democrats? Because I thought the answer was no.
So Josh, and then
you heard that, right? The crowd booed him for that.
Yeah, they did.
The crowd booed him for that fucking comment.
But hold on, was that boo just towards him, or was it boo that the answer is no, and everybody like boo, like I don't know?
No, if the answer, if they were in agreement, they would have cheered.
Yeah.
So them saying that they're in a disagreement, they boo. Yeah. You know. So no, dude, the crowd is saying fuck you, Dave Smith. You know, don't be saying that. What the hell's going on here, bro?
But most of them are Jews.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I have no idea who bought the tickets, but yeah. So yeah. Tom, you've been saying they're saying no. Yeah, they're saying no. They're in disagreement here. Dave Smith, I just want to rewind that before we move on because
Dave, I'm gonna have
that is a big enlightenment here of what type of crowd is there at Turning Point USA. Listen to that shit.
Are we allowed to support groups that contribute millions of dollars to woke progressive Democrats? Because I thought the answer was no.
So Josh,
crazy, bro.
I think they were saying no. Actually, I think they were saying no.
Were they?
Yeah, I think they were in agreement with him.
No, they were saying boo, bro.
Look, go again.
All right. One more time, we'll move on.
One more time.
Let's listen closely. Chat, what do you think? Are they saying no or are they saying boo? So we'll get the chat's opinion here on this. Just listen closely here.
I'm here. Quick question. Are we allowed to support groups that contribute millions of dollars to woke progressive Democrats? Because I thought the answer was no.
So Josh, and then...
It sounds like boo to me, bro.
It sounds like no to me.
All right. I think it's boo,
because he said that, hey, let me ask you guys a question. And then
Sure.
he said that, oh, I would think the answer is no. And then and I heard no. Like, it wasn't like a...
so the
that's what I
chat's...
thought I heard.
Yeah, the chat's saying... This says boo. Joel says they're saying no. Tom says no or oh. Redfish says boo. I think they're... Okay. Green Gamer says boo. Sounds like a mix of both. Okay. They said, huh? All right, fair enough. It could be no, it could be boo. I don't know. I'm hearing boo. If the case was boo, that's very enlightening here. So I'm not too sure here. It might be split. It could be split here. That's a good argument. I'm glad you brought it up. This is why you're the co-host. So my guess is that they agree with Dave. So maybe they are saying no. Could be that. Yeah, could be that.
Well, let's
Could
see.
be that.
Let's see what goes on.
Grudgehead says they're saying Jew.
Has to be grudge.
Could be that too, bro. It could be that too. It could be that too. Jew. They said AV, AO. All right, fair enough. All right, let's move on here. I don't know if they're saying boo. I don't know if they're saying no. To me, it sounds like boo. It sounds like they're in a disagreement with Dave on that statement, but I'm not too sure.
They're in agreement.
Okay, fair enough. It could be both ways. I don't know. If I wasn't corrected, I would have gone on a big rant on this. But yeah, I'll save it. You're right. It could be no. I don't know. It could be you. I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
And then we're both wrong.
We're both wrong at that point. Yeah, we're both wrong at that point. All right, let's move on with this.
Dave, I'm going to have a tough follow-up for you, so take a drink of water. Josh, what would you say to that? Because, look, I wouldn't... Some people would ask the question, okay, does AIPAC have more power than, like, your traditional, like, Armenian lobby? But more broadly, let's just take it more broadly. Like, is there any concern?
Oh, boy.
Or how would you address the concern? Let me put it this way. How would you address the concern that some people have that a foreign government tends to have an outsized amount of platform in the U.S. government?
Charlie, I think that there are tens, if not hundreds of millions of Americans who care a lot about U.S. relations with the state of Israel for understandable reasons. This literally goes back, by the way, those of you who are familiar with your American history, this literally goes back to the American founding. The American founders were extremely, extremely eloquent and outspoken about this. From George Washington to John Adams to Hamilton to Abraham Lincoln's famous February 1861 speech referring to Americans as an almost chosen people. They quoted the Hebrew Bible over and over and over again.
How did I know where he was going with that? How did I know he was going with the Hebrew Bible shit? When I said they love Jews, I was making a joke. He's going to insinuate that they also loved Israel before Israel was ever even fucking a thing. Really quick, Joel. Oh, shit, my bad. Joel, new member of Project VO, the VO Vigilantes here on YouTube. Appreciate that, Joel. Much fucking love to you, bro. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. So anyways, as I was going on, so he's insinuating that our founding fathers were actually Jew lovers. They love the Jews. They supported the Jews, etc. This is a new talking point I've never heard before. So I do want to listen to what he had to say here. So never heard this one before. I don't know if you have, OJ?
No, I haven't.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see exactly where he's going with this.
That the Christianity upon which America is predicated is not exclusively, but has a lot of Old Testament Hebrew Bible emphasis therein. And that's been part of our Constitution, part of our legal code, part of our moral code since day one. So it is completely reasonable for people in the year 2025 to look at that, to look at all the other things we talked about when it comes to deterring Islamism and Sharia supremacism, when it comes to trying to achieve this Abraham Accord-style nationalist, realist foreign policy, when it comes to deterring the Iranian regime and their various processes. It's very, very understandable for American citizens, again, Americans, to look at that and to conclude that we have important reasons for allying with Israel. They are not doing so on behalf of a foreign government. This framing is absurd. It's utterly absurd. They are doing so because they are patriotic Americans, and they feel it is their subjective sense that as patriotic Americans that this alliance is furthered.
And they are U.S. passport holders. Some people think that they're strictly foreign nationals. Is that correct?
Yes, and that's just simply just not true. Now, again, I say that by way of someone who's been very critical of AIPAC, but it's just simply not true.
We're using that as a filler term. So now, Dave, for you.
Now, really quick, I've heard it, but in a different way. America was founded by Judeo-Christian beliefs. Now, it's funny because the Jews aren't followers of Jesus. This contradicts the entire Christian mythos here. But yet we're associated with the Jewish community here, Judeo-Christian values, even though they reject God, they reject Jesus as their Lord and Savior. This is another propaganda that Judaism and Christianity cannot mix. It's water and oil, So this is the propaganda that they've given us throughout the years. Can I even say that on YouTube? I don't even fucking know. Guys, I don't even know if I could say this on YouTube. Please like the fucking stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because I'm not even too sure if I can even say this shit. So for God's sakes, please, yes, subscribe and like the fucking video and continue with that. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know at this point. So I'm trying to keep it cool. And by the way, at this point, the video right now, the stream is not monetized, so you guys aren't getting any advertisements on the video. I'm not making any money. It's all free at this point. So I'm only making money off of super chats. That's it. So that's how we keep it here on Project VOPod, because I don't want ads for you guys as we continue the stream, man. I want you guys to enjoy it. All right, let's move on.
Two quick ones. Do you think that the Council for American Islamic Relations should register as a foreign agent?
Yeah, I don't think there should be any groups advocating on behalf of foreign governments.
You're being consistent.
Yeah,
great.
That's right.
Secondly, though, and Josh did not say this, but he laced it in through one of the salvos he said, Dave, you're accusing them of being bought by the Jews. Now, Dave, there is a rise of, I just think, some disgusting stuff online. I'm not blaming you for this. I'm not one of those people, right?
All right.
But what do you have to say that there's this dark Jew hate out there? And you see it and I see it. I hate it.
Who do you think he's talking about, OJ? Who do you think he's talking about, bro?
Me?
No, not you. He doesn't know who the fuck you are. What the hell? You're fucking... You're a poop stain on his fucking butthole, bro. No. I think he's probably insinuating you're Candace Owens. Maybe you're Myron Gaines. Maybe you're Fuentes,
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm guessing Nick. Yeah. I believe he's insinuating this type of crowd here, that they just absolutely have hatred in their heart, which I don't see that at all, especially when I look at their takes, right? Yeah, people are saying, yeah, Nick in the chat. I get you there. I think this is what Charlie is insinuating to Dave in this question. So I'm curious to see where Dave takes it here. Yeah, and Tucker. Tucker might be on there too at this point, right? He's on the list, especially after his performance at this event here. Check the IG DMs, the full story. This story is true. All right, check it right now. All right, let's move on.
There's this dark Jew hate out there, and you see it and I see it. I hate it. It's not good.
Yeah.
And everyone in this audience, guys, don't get yourself involved in that. I'm telling you, it will rot your brain. It's bad for your soul. It's bad. It's evil. I think it's demonic. And so, Dave, though, how do you navigate being critical of a foreign government while also, some people say, well, your fans hate Jews. You're not responsible for your fans. That is dumb. That is terrible. I don't believe that. At the same time, though, Dave, you have a big responsibility on your shoulders, right? Because you're saying something that is heterodox, not in popular opinion, that some people are trying to use to push a much more sinister agenda.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I think that the fact is that the policies that the U.S. government is pursuing are almost guaranteed to create this. And look, I think there's a lot of factors here. I don't have nearly enough time to kind of give all of my thoughts on this, but I think as you young people know, right? Even though kind of over the last year with Trump's victory, wokeism has been receding, at least to some degree, it really can't be overstated how much every institution in American life bought into racialism over the last 15 years. And it's like these young kids came up in an environment where that was just considered normal. Like, you judge people by their race and make racialist arguments. And yes, now that has also been embraced by some people on the right. I will say that I think the best thing to always do in these situations is tell the truth, try to be a good person, try to deliver your message in the most compelling way, and let the chips fall where they may. But I do think that the level of Israeli control over our politics is frankly pretty undeniable, as much as people try to. Look, just think one example, right, of this. So Donald Trump, you remember at the end of the 12...
So really quick, I think that went over Dave's head here. I think Dave's just talking about like maybe the people that follow Fuentes or people that follow your Myron Gaines or your Candace Owens. And he's saying, yeah, those people really hate, the little hat people. So he's kind of saying, okay, that's cool, but it's not really a big deal. And I can agree with Dave here, kind of brushing it off. It's not really a big deal. It's not something that's like the way the left would describe white nationalists, or the KKK, right? Oh, the KKK is taking over. There's only like 500 members throughout the entire United States. Like they're literally a speck of nothing, but yet there's some type of big deal. So I think that's how Dave is kind of looking at it here. Max says that he loves Nick and Myron. It's cool, even though he's a Muslim. Yeah, Myron is a Muslim. He's a bad Muslim. And I don't like Muslims too much, but I do like Myron. I'm not gonna lie. I'll make the exception to the rule. I like Myron. So
war, when Donald Trump starts pushing for a ceasefire, and then what does Israel do? They come in and start bombing regime targets, not nuclear sites. They come in and start bombing, and then Donald Trump was furious with Netanyahu. Obviously, he had his most angry moment toward Netanyahu when he said they both don't know what the F they're doing.
Good to see you in the chat, bro, my friend. Mister in the fucking chat. This I can't even read that. Go ahead, OJ.
Anti-Semitic.
There you go. Anti-Semitic. I need I need the dash between anti and Semitic there. This anti-Semitic started around the same time the Gaza stuff. Actually, that is true. Coordinated by the people who took over BLM movement and the LA protests. Why are people waving hammers and sickly sicko
flag and LGBT.
There you go. Yeah, shout out to Mr. on that. He's a very smart guy. I've had him on the show right here. Very big contributor to the channel. Shout out to you, Mr. Thank you for that comment, man.
I kind of loved that moment for the record.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I loved that moment too. But then the next day,
one
he's
word,
right back to
motherfucker,
just
one word.
advocating
Shut
that
up,
they
Chris.
drop the charges against Netanyahu. He's still going to continue funding Netanyahu unconditionally. Anyone else, Donald Trump, would have come up with a nickname for him already and just been smashing him all over the place. He was trying to lure America into a war that Donald Trump didn't want to get into. But then we still got
to because he literally chose to get involved. Like, that was Donald Trump's decision.
Right, but it was all
right, the chat's laughing at me now. I had one word where it wasn't the dash there, where I was like, what the fuck does that even say? Okay, anti-Semitic. I got it, guys. All right, shut the fuck up. You guys are just fucking blabbing about nothing here. Okay? I've been reading all fucking streaming long, 2 hours and a half, and then I get one word wrong. All of a sudden, I'm a fucking retard here. I'm a fucking retard. They can't read. Okay.
Somebody clip that, please.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, OJ. I'll have you read the next chat then and see how you do. All right, we'll get you. You read all the chats from now on. How about that?
All right, fair deal.
I already said it, Joel or Joel. That's in Spanish right there, Joel. Yeah, there you go. We love Jake Varr. Thank you so much. I love you guys too. I fucking love you guys too, man. Shout out to Jake Rattlesnake for the raid, by the way. So love that. So happy to see everybody here. We had a few lefties on here arguing with you guys. So yeah, fair enough. Anti-Semitic guys, carry on. Let's carry on. Let's carry on, guys.
The Israelis had a backup plan.
Right. But it was also his decision to push for a ceasefire and to try to end the thing.
And Israel agreed immediately.
Well, no, they bombed the crap out of him immediately. That's why Trump was so upset.
Simple question. I want to phase out U.S. aid to Israel. Okay, I established that. Allegedly, Prime Minister Netanyahu is now getting on board with that as well. Certainly a lot of people in his coalition, too.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Well, he's basically said that, so you should believe it. But what exactly...
A politician saying something...
Let Josh finish his question.
You should believe...
Benjamin Netanyahu said that, so you should believe it. Okay, all right, let's just believe it. Okay.
Dave, let Josh finish his question.
If the Israeli government were to agree that is the best policy, and if the United States were to do that, then what in God's name is your actual problem?
Well, I'm sorry. So if America was not propping up Israel and America was not...
If we wind down the foreign aid, then what is your issue?
Well, there's other military intervention, obviously, so I'm not sure I follow. I'd be very happy to wind down the foreign aid. But other than that, what is my... Listen, I'm a non-interventionist, so I'm not saying America should
I like that answer. You can call me whatever. It's all good. Call me whatever the fuck you want, Jake, as long as you're smiling and having fun.
I think what the chat is saying is about the pronunciation of his name. Is like, I think they're trying to say is Joel, because she put it with the W earlier, Miss D. But yeah, but here in Texas, we say Joel.
Is that how fucking white people pronounce that name, Joel?
I guess so. Yeah, I just thought about that. Now, why are you talking about that?
Oh, that makes sense then. Yeah, Joel.
Yeah,
that's how we pronounce it here.
There you go. Miss D said yes right there. There you go.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck you guys, bro. I'm not mispronouncing his fucking name. It's Joel, bro, or Joel. Like, what the fuck?
Joel or Joel. So that's what.
Okay, all right. So us Mexicans here, we pronounce that word Joel, right? Which is the American way of saying it, and in Spanish it's Joel, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, my bad. You guys don't know fucking Hispanic culture, you fucking white nationalist, racist fucking chat over here. I'm fucking so triggered now.
Wait a minute. I thought this was White History Month.
Oh, yeah. By the way, happy White History Month. Happy White Racist Month. No, I'm kidding. but yeah. So we do pronounce down here, we're in South Texas, but yeah, we pronounce it Joel. So in my mind, I'm reading it's Joel or Joel, right? Dalton. So... yeah, that's where the confusion, because I was just like, what the fuck? I'm pronouncing it correctly. I don't understand. I don't even understand this. But yeah, that's a good take right there. Dude, now we know it's Joel or whatever, however white people pronounce it, whatever. You whiteys. All right, let's move on.
Involved, but no, I mean, I do think objectively what Israel's doing to Gaza
Joel.
is horrible.
That's how you pronounce it. It's Joel. I like that.
Spanish, Joel.
Joel. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it, bro. You're a hoe and you take L's. You're a Joel, bro. And I can call you whatever the fuck I want as long as I'm smiling. As long as I'm smiling, dude. Shout out to the fucking chat, man. And happy White History Month. Happy White History Month to the chat. All you whiteys in the chat, happy White History Month. Because white people did build the greatest country on God's green earth. And this is why we have to celebrate White History Month. Not Mexican History Month, not black or what else is there? Indian, LGBTQ month, whatever the fuck that is. Fuck all that garbage, bro. Fuck all that garbage. How do you pronounce Noel in white pronunciation?
I'm assuming it's Noel.
Noel? Right?
Yeah, Noel.
Noel? Oh, okay.
I'm assuming.
So, yeah. So we would pronounce that Noel. Right?
Yeah. Noel, Noel.
Yeah. Noel, yeah. There you go. All right. So fair enough there. They're saying I'm pronouncing it wrong because of my Spanish heritage. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. You racist white people. All right. Let's move on.
I think,
and I want to talk about Gaza.
They couldn't do it without us.
So make that case.
If they were, I would still be against that.
We have to go fast because people have flights and stuff. But I want to get to this, right? And we still haven't gotten to the final conclusion. So let's talk Gaza because first I want to go, Josh, on October 7th because I want you to remind people what happened on October 7th.
Of course, just
and
to
Dave,
remind
I'll be honest. I think your portion of the debate, your portion of your community could do a better job of remembering the horror on October 7th. I'm just going to be honest.
God.
That's I'm not putting that on you. I'm saying just your community.
I know what you mean.
That's just me. I want you just to think because I think we kind of forget because there was something unique and terrible. Josh, I want you to talk about that. And then I want you to make the best case you can, because every human being's made in the image of God. I don't like seeing dead kids anywhere. I don't like seeing dead kids in Gaza. I don't like it. So we're Christians here. So Josh, I want you to kind of walk us through the series of events, because it can't be lost on us. Talk about Gaza. Talk about the horror of October 7th. Then, Dave, I want you to talk about your criticism about Gaza. And then I'm going to ask you a follow-up, Dave, about something that happened from the Joe Rogan show. Josh, you first.
Okay.
I'm just curious. Has anyone just put your hand up and make some noise? Have you been, any of you, to the parts of Israel that were slaughtered by Hamas? Anyone?
Okay, so this is a very simple question. Let's be 100 about it. Israel, according to the numbers, especially it's been over 2 years now, OJ? Yeah. Since October the 7th, we have the numbers that kind of range at the least 60,000 deaths of men, women, and children. At the most, 100,000 deaths that Israel has caused over there in Gaza. All right? Now, the original October the 7th took out around 1,200 Israelites. Okay? 1,200. It's a fraction of the number that they've given back to the Gaza Strip, the deaths. Okay? So so this argument right here, he's not even directly talking about the numbers. Okay? He just wants to tell you, have you guys seen the death over there in Israel? There was, 1,000 people, 1,200 people that passed away, which is a big deal. It's bad. It's horrible. But let's talk. But let's also compare it to what Israel did to Gaza, to the Gaza Strip afterwards.
So are they making it a museum now, like Auschwitz?
Oh shit. Okay. Oh, fuck. Yeah. No shit. Right. This is the second Auschwitz. Right. The Holocaust is one, and then the fucking October 7th is the next one right here. Right. Which, by the way, it's funny because we had pundits. By the way, chat. I don't know if you know this, we had pundits here in the United States claiming that October the 7th was worse. It's their 9/11, which is worse than our 9/11. That's how bad it was. And a lot of these pundits are basically insinuating that one Israeli death counts as 2 Americans. This was a horrible take from the mainstream media when this shit fucking first broke. All right. So this is what I'm saying. There's the Zionism is something there that we need to take a look at and debate. So that's all I'm saying there. But shout out to the chat, man. Bin Talk, Grid One, Chris, Scott, I see you there. Max Payne, see you guys there. I hope you're enjoying Mister. Hope you're enjoying the fucking show right here. All right. I appreciate you guys. You could be anywhere on the fucking internet, anywhere, but you're choosing to be here on Project VOPod. And with that being said, I gotta fucking appreciate and shout out to the chat here. All right, let's move on.
First. I'm just curious. Has anyone just put your hand up and make some noise? Have you been, any of you, to the parts of Israel that were slaughtered by Hamas? Anyone? All right, a few people. Okay. So I was also there a few months after it happened. If you haven't been there, it's very difficult to describe what you see. You see these kibbutzim, these small villages. By the way, these were typically left-wingers. These were peaceniks that were establishing their villages on the border to try to engage in pen pal diplomacy, if you will, with the Arabs of Gaza. These are very kind of left-wing peacenik people. And you see just kitchenware throughout the streets, teddy bears everywhere, blood-stained walls, bullet holes as far as the eye can see. It's very difficult to describe. The only time that I had that similar feeling walking around places like...
Really quick, just to answer Grid One's, yes, I will be going to DebateCon in, I believe it's Nashville, Tennessee, that they're holding it in November. I believe it's mid-November. So yeah, I will be making an appearance over there in DebateCon to hang out, to meet out with Grid One. Grid One's also going to be there. So looking forward to meeting up with a lot of the Crucible crew that I'm pretty sure is going to be flooded with Crucible crew members, and also other influencers and friends of the Andrew Wilson Crucible channel. So very much looking forward to that. But yeah, I will 100% be at DebateCon over there in Nashville. And yeah, we'll see. I'll play out my schedule. See, maybe the Tennessee Titans are playing a home game that week. So maybe I'll take more time off to enjoy Nashville in general. So we'll see on that.
Kfar Aza was when I was in Treblinka, the Nazi concentration camp itself. So Look, in total, and there's a brand new report talking about the extent of the mass raping and sexual violence that Hamas committed on October 7th. Combined, you're looking at roughly 1,200 people
I will
slaughtered.
be there,
By the
Grid.
way,
Fuck
not
yeah.
all Israeli nationals. Dozens of Americans were either murdered or taken hostage in Gaza as well. In total, something like 40 to 50 different nationalities were represented of those who were slaughtered on October 7th. In fact, just looking at it from a very strictly, narrowly American perspective, October 7th amounted on its own terms to the largest American-only hostage crisis since Tehran in 1979, because of all the American citizens who were then taken hostage into Gaza. So it was an unspeakable atrocity. We don't really have all the answers to this day as to how it happened. Perhaps we never will. I certainly hope to get some clarity at some point there. But it was the single deadliest day for the Jewish people since World War II. Given Israel's...
By the way, OJ, did you just hear
I'm
him?
here. Yeah.
He literally just said the most deadliest day since World War II.
I called it.
So yeah, you called it. You knew that this was going to be the next one. Oh man, did we not see that shit coming right there?
Dude, I mean,
a mile away.
Have you seen the site? It's like, dude, it's gonna be just open land at this point. I mean, it was like what, a music festival, right? That was happening.
It was a music festival. Now it was bad. Don't get me wrong. It was a horrible sight.
I'm not
taking that away.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that, okay, after like so many months, like, okay, I'm sure the blood is already dried off, whatever.
Yeah, he did say months. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, he did say months. Maybe you
true.
might find some bullshit, but he said bullet holes in the wall. Was there buildings?
I'm sure. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there. But the point is, we should expect him to compare it to the Holocaust, right? Which I'm not going to get into the Holocaust set. But yeah.
Abraham Lincoln's in the chat.
Abraham, you mean Abraham Dinkus, baby.
Dinkus.
Yeah. Shout out to Abraham Dinkus, another supporter of the channel. Good to see you in the chat, my friend. All right, let's move on.
Small size, it's roughly the equivalent of 45 to 50 9/11s, if you can possibly contextualize that. So that was what precipitated 9/11, and given Israel's small size, it's roughly the equivalent of 45 to 50 9/11s.
Okay. Given Israel's size, this is the equivalent of 45 9/11s. Remember, the mainstream media, and I mentioned this earlier, the mainstream media was saying this is the equivalent of 9/11. This is worse than 9/11, right? He just made the equivalent of this is like 45 9/11s because of the size of Israel. Because I believe it's like a 10 million population or 9 million population. So losing 1,000 people is like 45 9/11s to the United States. That's what he's comparing it to. Now, this follows the narrative that the mainstream media was shooting out before. Crazy, bro. Fucking crazy. And remember, this guy's an American. So let's keep that in mind here.
If you can possibly contextualize that. So that was what precipitated this war. And it was a war that Israel, Charlie, did not want, as you know. Hamas took over in 2007. Israel repeatedly, time and time again, decided not to try to topple Hamas under the idea that you could potentially have an even worse alternative, better to deal with the devil that you know, and so forth there. October 7th, I think extremely reasonably, given the sheer level of carnage and terror and just outright satanic, demonic evil that happened, they quite reasonably concluded that policy simply had to end. And what's happened in Gaza for the past year and a half, almost 2 years now, has been a protracted war in one of the most condensed urban environments in the world. It is very, 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 very difficult war-fighting conditions. I would like to remind you just of at least one or two very simple facts. One is that let's not forget that Hamas, who Israel is at war against in Gaza, is a U.S.-recognized foreign terrorist organization. They are indistinguishable in that respect from Al-Qaeda or ISIS or any of these other foreign terrorist organizations. They are a rabid jihadist network that, like all these other jihadis and Sharia supremacists, also wants to kill not merely Jews, but Christians and all infidels. They say that very clearly in the 1987 founding charter. That is point number one. Point number two, Charlie, you mentioned that this is a very Christian audience. I am Jewish. We happen to share most of the Bible. And I am a firm believer in Genesis 1:27 that we are all made in God's image. That is one of my foundational beliefs in everything. I write about this.
However, the Jews are a lot more special than the Gentiles, right?
I write about this at great length in my book, Israel and Civilization. To me, that's the single foundational ethical imperative of all of Western civilization. It informs my pro-life views and so much else. So I, like you and like so many others, also weep whenever innocent people are dead. There are 2 points to make, and I'll make them very briefly because I know I'm sensitive to time. One is that we know, because we actually have people like John Spencer, the head of urban warfare studies at West Point, who have actually been able to crunch numbers. We know that when you actually look at the civilian to combatant death ratios in Gaza, it is the most humane civilian to combatant death ratio in the entire history of urban warfare. John Spencer was there, by the way, in 2016, 2017 in Fallujah, Iraq, during the Trump-led ISIS counterinsurgency. The United States Army, God bless them, did not even do quite as well as the IDF in terms of civilian to combatant death ratio, according to John Spencer of West Point. Point number 2, which is a very simple point that Dave Smith and his friends always like to look over, is that when you're just trying to ascribe moral culpability to every single tragic death in Gaza, Charlie, you made this point so well in your recent debates over in England against these highfalutin British faux intellectuals at Cambridge and Oxford, when you said that the moral culpability comes to people who are using human shields. That is just how it works. That is the law of war. That is the law of combat. That is just basic morality and logic 101. So that is essentially how I see Gaza.
I know Dave has plenty to say in response to that. So
yes,
Dave, take 2
Real
minutes,
quick,
and then
real
I have a
quick.
crisp.
So I looked up the death tolls between 9/11 and October 7th.
Right.
So it's about.
I think 9/11 was like 2,000 something.
No, it's about close to 3,000.
3,000. Okay.
Yeah. So I
And
think it was
then
2,977.
okay, let's just round it up to 3.
Yeah, so round it up to 3, and it's saying that approximate death is 1,400.
1,400. Okay, cool. I've
So
seen
a little,
numbers of 12.
So a little still, little less than half.
It's half. Yeah, it's half. A little less than half. Now, here's the thing. When he was talking about 45 9/11s, if we add up the numbers of what Israel retaliated, because they have the right to self-defense. You remember that fucking talking point there?
Yeah.
Like Pierce Morgan was stating. They, within months and months, a year span, we found out the numbers 2 years later, at the highest, 100,000 people deleted from Israel in the Gaza Strip. They have a population of 2.3 million people, okay? Compared to Israel, who has a population of nearly 10 million. So, so their population is literally 20% of Israel. And they killed out nearly 100,000, maybe 80,000 around there that they're speculating here on the numbers. That's a huge number. If Israel is saying, or if this guy's saying that it was the equivalent of 45 9/11s to Israel based off the population per capita, then, bro, this would be what? Fucking 10 times more the damage that Israel retaliated to the Gaza Strip?
Yeah.
Of like what, 100, nearly 1,000 9/11s at that point? Nearly 1,000 9/11s? Let's be 100 about it. If he's going to make that argument, then we would have to actually make the argument that, well, the retaliation was fucking 7-fold worse than what Israel did. Only 47 likes. Get the fucking likes up, chat. What the hell are you guys doing? Ninja watching. Like the fucking chat. Really helps out with the channel, and I would definitely appreciate it, guys. Please like the fucking video. Get the chats up. And if you're not subscribed, of course, subscribe to the channel because we're going to have more breakdowns. And, of course, debates. We do debates on this channel as well. And, a lot of shit to look forward to with Project VealPod. So go ahead and hit the like button if you haven't already. Appreciate that, Grudgehead. But anyways, that's my take there with that, is that if you want to compare the death rates, Israel's far more on that. This is why they're being investigated, that if this is a genocide or not, which I think it is. I think it stands to be that it is a genocide. Now, they're still kind of debating this type of topic, but nevertheless, is a genocide.
Well, Jake, it wasn't a genocide. They left 20%.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
So it wasn't a total genocide. They still got 20% of the country.
Well, they left a small percentage compared to the population here. If you want to go per capita, this is way worse than what Hamas did to Israel here. But of course, Israel life is way more valuable than Palestinian life, right? That's kind of like where this guy is coming from here. But that's my take on that. It is what it is.
Follow up.
Yeah, I mean, geez, there's a lot there.
Cursing's
First
bad.
of all, look, if you support what Israel's doing in Gaza right now,
thank you.
I would just, like, my advice to you guys is just know that you never have a leg to stand on claiming to be pro-life for the rest of your life. Just saying that.
I don't know about that, but
so it's okay to support.
Let's not boo our speaker.
Wait, hold on. Okay, so just kind of steal my.
Hold on, rewind it back again.
Yeah, if he said that you support the attacks that Israel did on Gaza, then you have no right to call yourself pro-life. I think he got booze there.
Yeah,
he went back to the booze.
Yeah, he got the booze on that one.
He got the booze. Okay.
Is just know that you never have a leg to stand on claiming to be pro-life for the rest of your life. Just saying that. If you. It's
Woos.
It's okay to support.
Let's not boo our speaker.
It's okay to support a policy that is killing babies. All of a sudden, killing babies is negotiable. All right, fine. I'm just reading the room.
So, Dave, why don't?
Damn, he called out the crowd there. It was booze. It was booze. It sounded like woos to me, but no, that was booze. That was booze.
That one was.
That one was booze.
No, I'm not talking about for Hamas.
Hold on. Back up, Dave. Why
I just let you go on this whole long
I know.
thing.
I'm gonna actually help.
Yeah, Charlie, shut the fuck up and let him talk. See how Charlie's fucking interrupting him? He let this guy go and spurg out, and now he wants to interrupt Dave Smith.
There it is, fucking stupid.
Come on,
Help
bro.
you out here, Dave. Okay. What I'm doing, I want you to tell the audience what's going on in Gaza, because some people in the audience don't know what's going on. So don't assume they know, and let's not get back.
Oh, okay. Well, I did assume that most people know that lots of babies are being killed in Gaza, but maybe I shouldn't have assumed that.
Don't be sarcastic about it, Dave. Instead, I mean this.
No, I meant that literally. I did assume that.
Loop where they're on social media all the time. Okay, so walk through numbers, walk through what animates you to say something like that.
Well, okay. Well, let me respond to a few of the things that Josh claimed. I mean, if you want to go, there was just a major report a couple weeks ago in Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper, where they had a bunch of IDF soldiers. They actually had one who went on record who was saying that they were ordered to shoot at crowds of people who were going into
all right, what a libel left-wing filth, by the way.
Josh, I let you talk. Let's please let Dave make his case.
Well, is the IDF soldier who went on the record also filth?
Probably.
Okay. All right. There you go.
It's probably felt.
See, you're whatever. That's when you'll criticize the IDF. Look, Josh is just lying when he says that Israel supported Hamas for all those years because they feared there might be a worse alternative. It's just not true. And this has been so widely reported. You don't have to rely on Haaretz. You can rely on all types of reporting, or you can just look at all of the leaders in their own words, what they said. They chose Netanyahu, and this was very controversial in Israel. There were lots of critics of this. Netanyahu thought he had this brilliant idea, which is that he would prop up Hamas and keep them in power. His exact quote was, "We can control the height of the flame." So he was like, we'll keep these terrorists in power, and that way we can tell the entire international community that, look, we have no partner for peace. We have no one to deal with here. And that way we never have to negotiate with the Palestinians. This was the game that he played, and it blew up in his face and really blew up in the Israeli people's face on October 7th. And I've never downplayed October 7th. I don't know. I know, but I'm just making the point that I never have.
Thank you for that, because what happened there is totally...
Shut up, Charlie. God. Fuck, Charlie pissing me off here. All right.
Yeah.
Pissing me off here. But no, Dave, look, I don't think anybody really downplayed the tragedy that happened on October the 7th. We can all agree on that. Yeah. Now, do I have my speculation that this is a false flag? I think there's already been evidence or insinuating that Benjamin Netanyahu, through the intelligence agency, knew that they were going to be attacked by Hamas, and they did nothing about it. Now,
they're also the fourth largest military. I don't know.
Yeah, of course. And one of the best intelligence agencies in the world.
But they can see the missiles coming from Iran.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. They were able to kill out all those, right? But what I am saying is that fucking I do believe that Netanyahu knew about the attacks ahead of time. He allowed it to happen. At this point, the argument should be, did Hamas actually delete the Israeli people if the government knew it was going to happen and let it happen? Who's really at fault at that point? Because the government's job is to protect the people. If they don't do that and they purposely allow a foreign entity to delete their people, who's the real one at fault here? And I think Netanyahu, and again, they have the top intelligence agencies in the world, bro. And you're telling me they didn't see this shit coming?
Yeah.
And there is some evidence coming out saying that they did know. And we're going to wait on that. But this was something that I already speculated fucking years, like a year ago, where I was talking about the false flag situation. And I've talked about it with you on several occasions. I didn't know fully if that was the case. I was all conspiracy theories on this situation, but it looks like that is probably more than likely the case. So we'll see going forward with that. And yeah, fat face Charlie, fat face Charlie. These guys are fucking roasting Charlie Kirk right now. Oh man, I'm out, homie. Glad I could help out with the rattlesnake raid. God bless the chat. Yes, Miss D, who's also one of the best supporters here on Project VOPod. Really appreciate Miss D. Thank you for that. Which, by the way, she did send me a screenshot of another news story that just broke, which I'll probably be breaking it down a little bit before we end the stream, because what I saw was fucking wild. So we'll look at that later. But thank you, Miss D, for the support as always. Have a good night. All right, let's move on.
You don't have to downplay any of that. And in fact, I've criticized many other critics of Israel who have downplayed that. It was a horrible day. Awful, atrocious acts were committed by Hamas terrorists. But at the same time, Benjamin Netanyahu was propping those guys up. In fact, according to the Israeli former defense secretary, he sent the head of the Mossad to Qatar to, quote, beg them to continue shipping the money in. Meanwhile, they had a blockade around Gaza. They wouldn't let sugar, they wouldn't let potatoes in, because they claim that's dual use. That could be used to build rockets. So the kids can't get, food.
And by the way, he's on trial right now for those fucking starving Gaza right now. Right now, he's on trial for that, for his war crimes, which would be considered a war crime. But of course, he wants war to continue in order to avoid that. Really quick, Mike Ball with a $10 fucking super chat. Appreciate you, my friend. Always a fucking pleasure. Thank you so much for that $10, man. Appreciate you supporting the mission. And my brother, a lot of talk, no action. Show your support. Yes. Mike Ball, thank you so much for the $10. And guys, yes, of course. Again, you don't have to send the super chats. We're here for free. We're here to entertain you, give out my takes, give out facts, etc. And yeah, guys, you know, I would appreciate a super chat, appreciate the money. At the end of the day, man, love you guys, and I appreciate every single one of you, because you could be anywhere on the internet, but guess what? You're here in Project fucking VOPod, enjoying your fucking night. So I will always appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. All right. Big Balls Mike. Yes, sir. Big Balls Mike. I got you another one. Big Balls Mike with a big ball, $10. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. All right, let's move on.
Hundreds of millions of dollars in cash directly to Hamas. I guess money.
Oh, really quick. And also a goodbye from Redfish and BitTalk. Have a good one. Oh, hold on. Sorry. No, they're saying peace to Miss D. All right, Miss D, you confused me there. Women, bro. Can you believe it? Women. All right. Women, bro. Okay.
Women.
Doesn't have a dual use. So, you know, the whole mission of this, what you can't even really call a war, because it's not a war.
Yes.
It's the destruction of a captive people. Gaza's been occupied since 1967 by the Israelis. And they're now just slaughtering the people there that's a fact. And it's under the supposed goal that they want to eliminate Hamas and they want to retrieve the hostages. And yet, Hamas is not being eliminated. They claim, the Israeli government is claiming that they've killed 20,000 of their fighters, and yet there's still as many as there were at the beginning.
So Dave, let me ask you the follow-up that I wish that I had an answer to when you were on the Joe Rogan show, but that thing descended into a mess, right? It was madness. So I'm going to try to do it here. This was the best point that I think that for whatever reason it wasn't answered. How then should Israel have responded to October 7th? Be specific. I know you might say, well, don't kill kids, but hold on. How would you say you would be okay for Israel to respond? Because it would be a defensive war at that time. 1,300 of their own kids and women were killed and raped. So please just answer, how then would you be okay with Israel responding to October 7th?
Yeah. Okay, this is an amazing question. Just like he gave the amazing question earlier in the podcast here, which you guys probably didn't see. He asked Josh Hammer, if it means taking away nuclear arms from Iran, would you put boots on the ground? Josh Hammer's answer to that question, that hypothetical, was, yeah, I just don't like the framing of the question. And Charlie Kirk says, okay, well, food for thought. Dave, here's my question to you. He totally let him get away with that. This is a really good question for Dave. Is Dave going to say, well, I don't like the framing? Who knows? Maybe Dave will say, I don't like the framing. Go ahead and go back to Josh Hammer here. Don't think so. Because Dave is dominating this fucking debate. It's not even close. Not even close at this point. Not even close.
Well, I certainly, look, I'm not saying that Israel was going to respond with zero violence from after October 7th. But I think the important thing to remember here is that, first of all, for the entire history of Israel's existence, they've been dealing with this terrorism problem. Now, I would argue that the Palestinians have been dealing with the terrorism problem from Israel as well, but this is, and they've never, until Netanyahu, they never treated it as a problem for the regular old military. It was always targeted assassinations and special ops. And look, the truth is this is the fact, right? When you have been occupying a group of people since 1967, Israel has completely controlled Gaza.
They withdrew 20 years ago.
Yes, okay. And if you want to go back and look at this, you can read Sharon's top advisor, in his own words, said the disengagement was to put
we're running out of time. I know, but
okay, all right. I won't be able to go through all of this, but it's not true. Israel continued to occupy the whole time. And when people broke out,
literally dug out their own
cemeteries.
No, keep on, Dave.
Okay. So when people break out of Gaza and just start just slaughtering civilians in Israel, yes, it was a horrible day and the world feels for those civilians. But at the same time, you have to know, if you're Israel, that the way that you respond to this is going to be how you're characterized in the international community. And so you would at least make some effort to not kill so many civilians. You can't, dude. Smotrich, the finance minister, was bragging for 3 months that not 1 ounce of grain would get into Gaza. Well, Hamas has all the food.
They're firing rockets from
Hamas has all the
schools.
Dude, you interrupt every 2 seconds, dude. Hamas has all the food they need. This is a war on the civilian population. And then, as is reported, admitted by IDF. By the way, this is admitted by the Israeli government. You can say whatever you want about Haaretz. They denied that they gave the orders, but they admitted that it was the IDF who was shooting at those people. Then after you deny the civilians food for 3 months, then you start shooting at the people who are desperately trying to get some food for them and their kids. So no, listen, I'm sorry, and I guess I am partly rejecting the premise of your question, but let me just say it like this, Charlie. If you're pro-life, and you say,
Such a stupid argument. You should not buy this for a second.
Let Dave finish his sentence.
Shut up, bro. It's not it's a stupid argument. It's a stupid argument. You haven't heard the argument. What's the argument that's stupid?
Dave, what's the argument? What's the argument, Josh? What's the argument then? Okay, so really quickly, just to address a couple things that Dave said.
I think he learned that from Andrew Wilson.
I think he did too. Yeah, I think he went to debate university at this point, bro. Like, what's the argument then? Steelman it, bro. Yeah, exactly, bro. And fuck it, Charlie, shut the fuck up, please. He's doing a good job moderating this particular situation here. So I'll give him that at least.
Well, this one. The other one's not really.
Yeah, this one here, bro. But I'll tell you this, Dave, he does a really good job when he's talking about. Now, I'll tell you this. The question was, what would you have done if you were in charge of Israel and you got attacked? That's the question here. Dave didn't directly answer the question because I don't even think Dave's not in government. He doesn't know exactly what to do, like as far as this, the specs of how to go about it. However, he did say, well, the answer isn't to literally obliterate fucking 100,000 people with a population of 2 million people here. That's the direction he went. So he did answer the question that, he's not actually saying what he'd actually do. However, he is saying the way they did it is fucking horrible. It's stupid. It's bad for society in general. And they look good, or I'm sorry, the United States make them look good. It's self-defense, all this fucking narrative that the mainstream media did. So I think Dave did a good job not directly answering the question. However, I would have said, look, I'm not a government agent. I don't know exactly the step-by-step of how to go about it. However, the way they did it, they literally murdered 100,000 people compared to the ratio of what they got murdered, which was 1,000, 1,500, whatever the case is, right? It's not even close to self-defense of the narrative that the mainstream media was pushing out. Like, that's a very simple answer there, But yeah, I'll address it.
No,
that
what's
way.
the argument?
It's Hamas that is not
What's
pro-life.
the argument?
Josh,
You
like
just
to
called
kill
stupid.
people.
Dave,
What's the argument?
this is what.
Hold on one second, Charlie.
I know people don't
What's
like
the
seeing
argument
that
that you?
it's not enjoyable to watch,
What's
okay?
the argument that you called
Why
stupid?
don't you finish it, Josh?
Because he
Let him
doesn't even
finish.
know what it is. He interrupted me before I even said it. Okay, here's the argument. If you're pro-life, it's not incumbent on you to have a plan for what the mother ought to do with the baby. Like, you don't have to have a plan for daycare and college funds and all that. You just say, hey, I think this option should be off the table. I don't think you have the right to murder the baby while it's inside of you. Likewise, I'm not saying I have to have the perfect plan. If we had more time, I could expound on what I think they should have done. But how about don't deny 1 ounce of grain for 3 months and then shoot at the poor people who are trying to get food?
Josh,
how about
respond.
you take that option off the table?
All right.
Is that argument stupid,
There
Josh?
we go.
Dave.
Now,
Okay.
Josh.
So
Yeah,
now we know
already-
his argument about the pro-life stuff. Go ahead, OJ.
no, I'm glad that Charlie did let him go on, right?
Yeah.
Even though he was trying to interrupt him there, but because first time, Charlie actually told him like, "Hey, I don't think the crowd knows what you're talking about" when they booed him, and then now
Sure.
you have the crowd cheering him as he explained his position.
Sure. Yeah, that was a good move. That was a good move. And he allowed fucking Dave to finish off his thought. And this guy interrupted him 3 times during that rant. Dave has yet to really interrupt the guy. He doesn't interrupt him. All right.
And he don't need to.
And he doesn't need to, bro. This guy's talking nonsense, you know? So, yeah, good job on Dave's part here.
In Gaza, that is not pro-life, is Hamas.
Agreed.
Hamas is the
not what
jihadist,
he's saying.
U.S.-recognized foreign terrorist organization that in their founding charter, by the way, they were
So
founded...
nobody's talking about Hamas, bro. Nobody's talking about Hamas. Yes, they're anti-life. Who cares? His argument is, if you are pro-life and you support them doing a genocide on Gaza, then you don't have the right to call yourself pro-life. He gave the argument. How about address that? Instead, this guy's pivoting to, well, you know who's not pro-life, OJ? You know who's not pro-life? Hamas. Hamas is not pro-life.
Okay.
Who gives a shit? We're not even talking about Hamas. What the fuck is this shit, bro? Dude, it bothers me so much. This is why when I'm in debates and they pivot to something that I didn't even talk about, you have to fucking pin them down on the actual argument here. He still doesn't even know Dave's argument at this point. He doesn't know Dave's argument.
Well, I mean, Dave already told him that he don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
And he proved it right here. Just bringing up Hamas is just dumb. And he's probably going to rant for fucking 2 minutes about Hamas.
simply as the Palestinian Arab offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood.
We all agree Hamas is bad. Well, no, I'm not going to sit here while he interrupts me every time I speak and never interrupt him.
But Dave, respectfully, you are criticizing him for interrupting, so don't do that.
Oh, God.
So just let's have an uninterrupted narrative. Just thank you.
Okay.
Shut up, Mon.
Hamas calls in their founding charter for the death not merely of every Israeli, not merely every Jew, but of every infidel, which they identify as not merely all Christians, but also all Muslims who don't subscribe to their idiosyncratic form of Sunni Sharia supremacism. So the group in Hamas, the group in Gaza that is not pro-life is Hamas. And Hamas has the unequivocal, and I would argue sole moral culpability for the human shield-induced deaths of all the women, civilians, and babies when they are indiscriminately firing rockets, mortars, and missiles from mosques, from the United Nations schools, and on. That is where the blame goes. The blame goes to Hamas. Once upon a time, anyone with any decent functioning moral compass or any knowledge of international law 101 would have been able to tell you that. So that is where this goes.
But again, it's...
Okay, see, that had nothing to do with his question. Nothing to do with his question. He pivots to Hamas. Yeah, Hamas is anti-life. I don't care. That's not what he's saying. He's talking about the American people that support the genocide, saying that they don't have the right to call themselves pro-life if you're a Republican. That's his basic argument. You know?
Yeah.
Address that. Instead, he talks about Hamas. So frustrating as we're going on with this fucking...
I agree.
Yeah,
Hamas
redirect.
Okay, move on. He already agreed. What are you arguing?
What do you want? Yeah, steel man it, bro. He couldn't steel man it. It's all redirection. Yeah, you're right. Joel, I'll just call him Joe now because I guess I'm not fucking white enough. All right. I'll just say Joel. He does say, yeah, redirect. Exactly, bro. Exactly. That's all it is. It's a pivot to something else right here.
just you pivot to blaming Hamas, and they're the ones who aren't pro-life, as if I was making the claim that Hamas is pro-life. I'm criticizing Benjamin Netanyahu for funding and propping up this horrific terrorist organization.
Thank you. He got him.
So how are you in one breath going to talk about how terrible they are and then completely remove culpability from the guy who kept them in power intentionally?
I am curious. Got it. I'm curious. I got to interrupt. What is your response to the human shield argument? It has been proven.
Bro, he didn't even answer his fucking question. He didn't even rebuttal correctly.
How is it that when it came to the 12-day war in Iran, they were able to point the missiles directly at their target?
At the leaders in Iran,
yes. At the leaders. Only the leaders that they were going after.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, because some casualty died in the process of it, but at the end of the day, they got that.
They got him.
They got him, but yet you're telling me that, they couldn't find Hamas the whole entire time? They couldn't direct it to the leader? No, it was a genocide. It was a fucking genocide.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah, Charlie's truly a simp. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, dude, he didn't directly answer the question. He didn't rebuttal correctly. He pivots to Gaza. Fucking Dave Smith calls it out. He called it out right there on stage. And then what does Charlie Kirk do? He interrupts him and says, well, what about that human shields thing that he mentioned fucking 10 minutes ago? Can you answer that? Can you answer the human shield shit again? Like, dude, Charlie, just like there was another super chat that came in earlier. You could see the puppet strings on Charlie Kirk right now. He's trying to convince the crowd that he is a unbiased moderator, while not actually acknowledging that Josh Hammer did not actually answer the fucking question. He pivoted to Hamas. They're anti-life. Nothing to do with fucking Dave Smith's argument. Dave Smith calls it out, and then Charlie Kirk interrupts him and gives him a totally different question that was brought up 10 minutes ago.
I don't see why Hammer's right there. Anyways, I mean, just move the seat out and just have the debate between Dave Smith and Charlie Kirk.
Well, no, this is easily it's a 1v2 right now. It's a 1v2. This is why I titled it. It's a 1v2. It's Dave Smith versus Josh Hammer and Charlie Kirk. It's very simple, guys.
I don't
know.
Hammer's not even doing nothing.
Yeah. Well, he's getting backed up by Charlie. Yeah. He's getting backed up by Charlie, bro. It's fucking insane here. It's fucking insane. How do you get to the hostages kept in the tunnels under the hospital? So, OJ, I think that's directed to you. Catherine asked the question.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure about what their technology is, but I mean, it's sure they proved the fact that they could do it with.
No, they could definitely infiltrate those tunnels. It's not even fucking close. In fact, they don't even have to send the missiles. They can do easily Black Op missions. They can do boots on the ground into Gaza and find those tunnels and eliminate Hamas right off the bat. It doesn't take months to just bomb the Gaza Strip. This is a very well. I think Catherine's asking that in good faith. She genuinely wants to know, etc. Right? Yeah. But no, there's definitely different takes that they could have done in order to target specifically Hamas without having casualties. That's the point there, bro. So, just to answer that question right there.
It is legit. What is your response to a fact? We don't know how widespread it's done, but I think it's rather that Hamas uses human shields.
Yeah, they certainly have. I'm not denying that, but at the same time, it's kind of if let's say like in a domestic criminal situation, if there was somebody who killed a bunch of people and then they ran into a school and they're like using the kids as human shields, they're hiding behind the kids, and then your local police department came over and said, blow up the school and killed all the kids, you wouldn't go, well, they have no moral responsibility because they were using them as human shields. Yeah, as Bill Burr said in his special, you got to work around that, bro. And Hamas is terrible. Nobody's arguing with that. But that doesn't mean there's no responsibility for the people dropping the bomb.
Got it.
And by the way, again, as you don't want to talk about, how about when they're shooting at people trying to get aid? There were no human shields there.
No, I do want to talk about it.
Go look at a picture of Gaza. The human shields does not describe most of what's happened to Gaza. Yes, there are certain instances, and by the way, Israel also has a bunch of military targets in civilian areas. I'm just saying that doesn't actually mean it's okay to just now you have a moral get out of jail free card to do whatever you want to the poor innocent people who, as you pointed out, are also victims of Hamas.
Josh,
and that's what people are objecting to.
Josh, what is your response to? So I know there was some pushback online to the shooting at the aid site with food. Is that as Dave is telling it?
Charlie, honestly, I have not spent too much time on the details, but what I can tell you is...
Sorry, I didn't hear the last question here. I'm going to rewind a bit. I just got back, all right? Hold on. All right.
that are also victims of Hamas.
Josh.
And that's what people are objecting to.
Josh, what is your response to, so I know there was some pushback online, to the shooting at the aid site with food? Is that as Dave is telling it?
Oh, shooting on the aid site of food.
Charlie, honestly, I have not spent too much time on the details. But what I can tell you is this. We know for a fact that at least until the recent Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is this U.S. organized NGO distributing aid, we know that prior to the establishment of this, Hamas was pilfering and confiscating a shockingly high percentage of the aid that entered Gaza, sometimes well more than 50%. Because that's what they do. They have monopoly of use of force in Gaza, and they were essentially just artificially inflating the prices of the actual Gazans' goods and then stealing it all for themselves. That's what Hamas does. It is a deeply corrupt kleptocracy in addition to being a jihadist hellhole. Now, the new aid group, the Gaza Humanitarian...
Yeah, so he's not even answering. Well, he doesn't know anything about that, apparently, right? Really quick, Charlie Kirk probably has financial reasons for standing up to Gaza. No, that's exactly 100% true, my friend. That is 100% true. This is why...
Yeah, well, Dave called it out earlier.
Yeah, not directly, not as well put right here, but let's be honest, that is the facts right there, dude. So yeah, 100% on that. Good take on that. Absolutely, they want. Hold on, really quickly. Absolutely, they want that land. They think it belongs to them. Modern day Judaism has nothing to do with the Israelites, Canaanites, etc. The term Jew is a very modern thing. Yeah. I remember seeing a history rebuff about the different types of Jews that the Bible speaks of back in the day. So very different when it comes to the chosen people of God compared to what they were back then to what they are now. So interesting comment right there.
Humanitarian Foundation is a noble and righteous effort that guess who opposes it? Hamas. Hamas are the ones who actually have started indiscriminately shooting, even much more so than whatever anecdote Dave Smith is talking about. Hamas is the one that has actually started indiscriminately shooting at this U.S. perpetuated this U.S. orchestrated new aid distribution organization because Hamas doesn't like the fact that the United States, under Donald Trump, God bless him, has found a way to get around the Hamas monopoly on aid distribution in Gaza.
We are way over time. And so now I want to end with what do we want? Okay, we both are challenging, we're defending, so we got to go fast.
Well, you're defending
Josh. I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
What are you pushing for? What is success? What is the end destination? What are you prescribing? What are you offering? And then Dave, I'll let you do it. And then please don't interrupt.
Charlie, great debate.
Dave, please don't interrupt. Okay. Come on, bro. Come on.
Give it to Hammer first because Hammer's going to interrupt on Dave.
Yeah, I bet you that when he gives it back to Dave, he's not going to tell Josh to interrupt. But I'm pretty sure Josh Hammer is going to do that. I'm putting a bet on that. Let's see if he does.
I think you would tell him not to interrupt, but he's going to do it anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for moderating this. So I support the Trump doctrine of foreign policy. I have been a staunch proponent of the Trump doctrine since the Trump doctrine first came into instantiation during the first Trump presidency. The Trump doctrine, again, is neither neoconservative nor isolationist. It is a nationalist, realist, America-first approach to foreign policy that understands three things. One, America's #1 focus this century must be on combating our actual civilizational foe, the Chinese Communist Party. Two, America has declining resources. Three, the way to deal with both those two is to prioritize in non-Indo-Pacific regions of the world allies who are capable of securing and patrolling their neck of the woods in a way that redounds not just to their national interests, but to the American national interest. That in the Middle East is Israel. We've seen that time and time again throughout the Middle East. And again, Charlie, just to drive home this point there, the guy who understands this better than everyone, despite this whole kind of very online debate about what MAGA or America First should think about foreign policy and U.S. relations, the guy who understands this the best, as he recently reminded us, is the guy who literally...
I'm sorry. This is fucking funny. Please don't interrupt while your opponent shotguns 10 points at you. Yo, for reals, bro. Fucking for reals, dude. Okay, that's so good. That's so good.
really defined the terms. MAGA and America First. To Donald Trump, it is completely commonsensical. It is utterly logical. It flows from first principles that to be America first is to necessarily support tight-knit, close-knit U.S.-Israel relations. We saw this in the U.S.-Iran war. We saw the B-2 bombers do what they did, and God bless them for dropping those bombs in that 37-hour interval. That would not have been possible were it not for the Israelis laying the groundwork with the Iranian air defenses and Hezbollah the year prior in 2024. It was the Trump doctrine and U.S.-Israel relations at work. So, Charlie, my vision is for an independent Israel where we ultimately wind down aid, and for Israel to be the beacon of protecting and securing American interests in the Middle East, just like other countries can then take responsibility in different regions of the world, so that America can then focus on China.
Not very loud claps there, just saying. All right, now we're back to Dave. He's going to respond to that. Let's see if Josh Hammer interrupts. If he interrupts one time, everybody in the chat needs to take a fucking shot of Everclear. Let's do that. If he interrupts one time, shots of Everclear all the way in. It's basically gasoline, and it might kill you. Let's do that, all right? Your life is in Josh Hammer's hand right now.
Damn.
Look, I think if you guys are being honest with yourselves, and I do think we should really think about the threats that we really do face here at home. And I'm talking about the Democrats coming back into power. And forget all these made-up threats about other countries that really can't mess with us at all. I don't know if you guys have noticed, and you could say it's a very online debate all you want to. This hasn't been a good month for Donald Trump. His base is really kind of turning on each other, and these are major issues that are dividing his coalition. And this is J.D. Vance winning in a few years is not a given. You know, like the Democrats are going to come back and offer someone. And if we want to have a chance to keep progress going and to get our country in a better place, what we have to do is reject empire and return to being a republic that we were supposed to be. The United States of America was never supposed to be an empire. We were supposed to be a republic, a constitutional republic, a city on a hill that the world could learn from our example because we do liberty so much better than anybody else does. And we've gotten so far away from that over the years. And like I mentioned at the beginning, look, this is the big point. We're going broke. We can't afford to do this anymore. It shouldn't even be a question of whether we should be giving Israel money or whether we should be giving Ukraine money, as Donald Trump's also decided to do this year. We don't have it. This is like me taking out money on a credit card to lend to my friends so I can act like I'm the big shot who's lending them money. We are destroying our own young people. You, not me. I'm not a young person. I'm fine. I'm in my 40s and I make good money. Your whole generation is getting screwed over by this because we have to devalue our currency in order to keep up with the demands for this spending that we cannot afford. And so the answer is that we need to pull back.
Have a good night, Mike.
Focus on
Have a good
America.
night.
That's
Appreciate
what
you.
America First is supposed to be about. Sound money, fiscal sanity,
Definitely
and
100%,
true liberty,
Mike.
true free market capitalism, not a government that spends $7 trillion a year and a crazy casino system on Wall Street with these incredibly low interest rates where people are making tens of millions of dollars off just, speculating on nonsense. And this is it's the warfare state that drives it. Look, guys, we have spent $20 trillion since the collapse of the Soviet Union. The war in Iraq and Afghanistan are over, and we're looking at our biggest defense budget ever. This is madness, and it will be the death of our country. No Islamist is going to take down our country, but drowning in debt and empire will. That's how great nations fall. And the young Republicans need to reject that.
All right, Mike doesn't have to take a shot of that
empire, like the great Pat
So
he's already going to go to
said.
sleep.
I want to just summarize. This was time well spent. Both Dave and Josh agree on some plan to wind down U.S.
All right. Well, we'll end it there. That's the end of the debate there. It's fucking Charlie Kirk just talking fucking... yeah, they had a good debate, guys. They had a good debate, etc. Blah, 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 blah.
Call it a good debate.
If you want to call it that. I think it was a slaughter. That's for damn sure. A fucking slaughter on the matter. But yeah, fucking fantastic debate. I got to give it, bro. We are winning.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more.
We got to win more. We got to win more. All right, we're going to do some... OJ, what's your take on the debate here that you just saw, man? I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun debate, but damn, really clear. Guy. Not a good moderator. Not a good moderator.
Not a good moderator.
Not
Yeah.
when it comes to a juice topic.
For sure. I'll tell you guys this, just announcements for the end of the show, guys. I'm going to be on Wick TV tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Wick TV, he's a pretty popular left-wing debate channel guy over here. So we'll be discussing the Epstein files as well as the direction of MAGA. So from my understanding, we're going to have some lefties on there, etc. That's going to be fun. That's going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll make the thumbnail. Please join us for that show, because I'm going to be debating a bunch of fucking libtards, and it's going to be fun, and I'm going to insult them, and I'm going to say you're stupid, and you're fucking morons, and it's going to be great. It's going to be hilarious, and it's going to be entertaining. So please come back tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I will enjoy it. Guys, with that being said, I'm going to send you off to Rob Noor. Rob Noor is live right now. I'm going to send you off over there. Let Rob Noor know that Jake Varr sent you over there to his channel. So, loving that shit right there. Joel Dalton says, Hoel, signing out. Love your stuff. Bye. Dude, shout out to Joel Dalton right there. Peace out, man. Love you, man. Thank you so much for the support. And shout out to Jake Rattlesnake for the raid, man. Really appreciate Jake Rattlesnake. Love you guys, man. God bless. And of course, send the love to Rob Noor as well. A employee of the Crucible and Andrew Wilson. But yeah, keep shit on a lookout. Obviously, I'm going to be debating Destiny on August the 2nd as well. So keep an eye out as well on that, guys. With that being said, God bless and have a wonderful night from myself and OJ. God bless, guys.